Chapter 367. Green Lotus Open. Shen Qin let out a low roar, and the white tiger's saintly body appeared behind her. The green lotus divine sword in her hand was directly integrated into the white tiger's saintly body. As the white tiger's saintly body rushed down, dozens of sword lights bloomed under its feet like a lotus. They were mixed with the murderous and destructive aura of the white tiger's saintly beast, and burst out. Before the white tiger arrived, the dozens of sword chi had already shot down. Clang! With one Hui's reminder, Xinghui did not dare to be careless. The rank 9 divine weapon in his hand was released at the same time as the Golden Crow saintly body, and it merged with the Golden Crow saintly body. For a time, endless light and heat dissipated, as if a second sun had risen in the void. The strong light illuminated the people of the Green Lotus sword sect below, and they could hardly open their eyes. As the Golden Crow saintly body tore down the sword chi that burst out, the void seemed to be distorted. When the sword chi was about to shoot to 100 meters in front of him, they exploded at the same time. The fire in the sky burned in the void within hundreds of meters, and the area was dyed red. However, at the moment when the Golden Crow saintly body collided with the sword chi, Xinghui suddenly felt a shock in his spirit. A somewhat familiar sword essence directly cut into his spiritual world, and it slowed down the operation of his spiritual world slightly. White tiger roar. In such a slight delay, Shen Qin's white tiger saintly body suddenly burst out a long roar that shook the divine soul. The roar was so harsh that Xinghui's consciousness gradually dissipated, and the flaw of this spiritual world was infinitely enlarged. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Shen Qin had already swept the sky with sword lights, and completely tore up the flames formed by the Golden Crow saintly body. The remaining momentum did not reduce, and it rushed to the Golden Crow phantom that was formed by the Golden Crow saintly body. The sword light in the Green Lotus divine sword whistled out, and the sword chi that twisted the divine soul cut the Golden Crow phantom in an instant. Then, it penetrated the power of the phantom formed by the Golden Crow saintly body, and fiercely cut into the body of Xinghui. In an instant, several bloody holes appeared on Xinghui's body. Good. Ha ha ha, sure enough, our Supreme Elder Shen Qin is better. So what if you have the Golden Crow body? Our Green Lotus sword sect's Green Lotus divine sword has the ability to kill divine souls. How can the Gold Crow divine body withstand it? In addition, Grand Elder Shen Qin's white tiger's murderous roar, and the Azure Lotus divine sword's spiritual soul-slaying power perfectly complemented each other. Even those powerhouses who had stepped into the transformative realm would fall for it, if they did not have sufficient defensive means, let alone a puny prominent divine stage powerhouse like you. The people from the Dong clan in the Blue Lotus sword sect, as well as the cultivators who did not know the specifics of the matter, cheered in surprise, shouting for Grand Elder Shen Qin to gain the upper hand. On the other hand, when Hui's expression sank, and he said anxiously, "Didn't I tell Lord Xinghui to be careful of the Azure Lotus divine sword's attack that can slash the soul? Why was Lord Xinghui still struck by 3 swords? This is bad." Compared to the Dong family's cheers and when Hui's anxiety and worry, Xinghui did not react at all to the small wounds that had been pierced through his body by the sword chi. In fact, although the sword intent in the Azure Lotus divine sword had a certain effect on him, this effect was not caused by the spiritual soul-slaying effect of the sword intent, but distraction. At the moment when he was hit by the sword intent, he was distracted. As a result, Shen Qin's white tiger's murderous roar took advantage of this and shook his spiritual soul, allowing Shen Qin to penetrate his Golden Crow divine body with the help of the Azure Lotus divine sword chi, and then his body. This sword intent. With his body pierced and blood sputtering, Xinghui did not panic. Instead, his eyes widened as his gaze fell on the Azure Lotus divine sword in Shen Qin's hand. For a moment he was slightly absent-minded. Humph, after all, you are too young. Even if you have condensed a divine-grade battle body, to what extent can your spiritual strength be refined to? However, when Shen Qin saw this scene, she felt that her Azure Lotus divine sword had a good effect when used in conjunction with the white tiger's murderous roar. Without any hesitation, the white tiger's saintly body roared again, and a long roar shook the spiritual soul. She pressed her hand down, and the sword chi of the Azure Lotus divine sword appeared from the white tiger's saintly body. Like a dazzling rainbow tearing the sky, the sword qi ruthlessly pierced through Xing Hui's head. This sword, she no longer wanted to add a few bloody holes to his body. She wanted to shoot Xing Hui's head to explode in one blow. Buzz buzz. Just as the sword was about to hit Xing Hui, whose spiritual strength seemed to be shaken, suddenly made a move. He pinched his fingers into a sword and heavily pointed at the sword qi that burst out from the Azure Lotus Divine Sword, directly shattering the sword qi. At the same time, the Golden Crow saintly body, which had been pierced through by the sword and was slightly illusory, burst out a loud and clear cry. Its sharp claws slapped down at the white tiger saintly beast. As it slapped down, a blazing flame emerged from its body. Endless brilliance burst out from the flame, as if a scorching sun was shining with the brightest brilliance. Boom! The thunderous power fiercely exploded in the huge body of the white tiger saintly body. When the blow hit, the sound was not the sound of a heavy object hitting, but the sound of a bomb exploding. The moment the Golden Crow saintly body hit the white tiger saintly body, it was as if countless missiles had been detonated at the same time. The explosion scattered endless flames and brilliance. In the face of such a sudden attack, Shenqin let out a painful scream. The white tiger's saintly body that had manifested almost dissipated. However, this pain stimulated her ferocious nature. The wave of the divine technique swept out, and a more terrifying energy burst out from her body. The white tiger's saintly body, which had been dimmed and was in danger of dissipating, became extremely condensed again. Its size had soared from the previous 80 meters to 120 meters, which was even higher than the Golden Crow saintly body. The white tiger saintly body, which had become even larger, let out an extremely angry roar. Countless sword lights extinguished the burning flames on its body. Then it pounced and fiercely collided with the Golden Crow saintly body. The huge body of the Golden Crow saintly body was knocked back. Divine technique. A sneer flashed on Xing Hui's face. Do you think you are the only one who has the divine technique? As soon as he finished speaking, the aura of the divine technique emerged from Xing Hui's body. The Golden Crow saintly body, which had been knocked out, was infused with the power of the divine technique. Its size, which was originally less than 100 meters, soared to 150 meters. Although the bigger the saintly body was, the size was often enough to determine the final strength of two saintly bodies at the level of the prominent divine realm. The Golden Crow saintly body, which had soared to 150 meters, stabilized its body, and once again tore at the body of the white tiger saintly body. This time, not only did it contain the terrifying power of the thunderbolt, but its sharp claws also burst out with the dazzling Grand Sun True Fire. As the Grand Sun True Fire emerged, Shenqin immediately felt the suffocating and terrifying heat through the white tiger's saintly body. At that moment, she couldn't care about the consumption of the white tiger's saintly body. She used the talent of the white tiger's saintly body, and a terrifying sound wave swept out again. However, it was different from the previous two times. This time, without the help of the sword essence of the Green Lotus Divine Sword, the attack formed by the white tiger's saintly body only had a slight impact on Xing Hui. In the blink of an eye, the impact was wiped out. Then, the Golden Crow saintly body, which had torn the void, fell on the body of the white tiger saintly body, and tore the huge body of the white tiger saintly body, which had reached 120 meters apart. The raging Grand Sun True Fire spread rapidly along the wound of the white tiger saintly body, which suddenly made the white tiger saintly body cry out in pain. The so-called saintly body was, in fact, a means manifested when the divine soul, which was shaped by the practitioner, received the carrier of the genuine qi. When the saintly body was torn apart, it was almost equivalent to the divine soul being torn apart. That kind of pain was often unbearable even for Xing Hui, who always used the Nine Skies Gang Wind to temper his primordial spirit, let alone Shenqin. Not to mention that after the Golden Crow saintly body tore the white tiger saintly body, the blazing Grand Sun True Fire burned along the wound. Damn it! Shenqin shouted angrily. The white tiger saintly body, which was being burned fiercely by the Grand Sun True Fire, retreated rapidly, trying to pull away from the Golden Crow saintly body. Unfortunately, Xing Hui, who had practiced the genuine qi to the advanced realm, and whose spiritual level had reached the 88th level, had surpassed Xinqi's control of his own genuine qi and the divine soul of the golden crow. Before the white tiger saintly body had time to pull away, the golden crow saintly body had already taken the opportunity to attack. The more raging grand sun true fire swept wildly, igniting the entire white tiger saintly body into a huge fireball. It seemed that the white tiger saintly body would be burned to ashes. Get out of my way! Seeing that she couldn't get rid of the entanglement of the golden crow saintly body, Xinqin roared. The white tiger saintly body, which was being burned by the grand sun true fire, roared. In its body, the green lotus divine sword burst out, carrying a terrifying sharpness that could kill the divine soul. It pierced through the golden crow saintly body and shot toward Xinghui without slowing down. At the same time, the weakening white tiger saintly body once again stirred up its genuine qi and let out a white tiger's roar. Obviously, she wanted to perform the first wave of attack again. Do you really think that the sword essence in your green lotus divine sword can do anything to me? Xinghui's eyes flashed. Looking at the green lotus divine sword, which contained the power to make the divine soul tremble, he directly pinched a special spell in his hand. Seeing the special spell that Xinghui pinched, Xinqin's eyes widened. This is the green lotus sword technique. Buzz. In Xinghui's spiritual world, the sword essence derived from the torch dragon bloodline appeared. It broke out from his body and slashed the body of the green lotus divine sword. Although it was shattered by the terrifying power of the green lotus divine sword in an instant, it made the green lotus divine sword stagnate. In this moment of stagnation, Xinghui had already used the technique of the green lotus sword technique to directly grab the green lotus divine sword, which was shooting toward him at an incredible speed. Before the green lotus divine sword could struggle violently, he turned his left hand, and a broken sword appeared in his hand. It was the broken sword that he had obtained from the ancestral land of the Myriad Swords Mountain. Xinghui's spiritual level had reached the 88th level. This kind of spiritual power belonged to the peak of the transformation stage of the second layer Saint Realm. Even if the green lotus divine sword spiritual power could affect him, the effect would not be so great. The reason why he was so embarrassed by Xinqin's green lotus divine sword at the beginning was that he discovered that the sword essence of the green lotus divine sword was the same as the broken sword that he had obtained from the ancestral land of the Myriad Swords Mountain. Because of this, he was shocked, and Xinqin took advantage of this and shot 3 bloody holes in his body. After understanding that the two sword intents originated from the same source, Qingsu immediately realized that the mysterious fragment of the broken sword that had been added to the green lotus sword when it was forged all those years ago came from this broken sword. As he guided the sword essence of this broken sword to attack the sword essence contained in the green lotus divine sword, the green lotus divine sword, which was struggling violently in his hand, quickly calmed down. Then, Xinghui turned his hand over and put it into his personal space. Chapter 368. Looking at the green lotus divine sword that Xinghui had taken into his personal space, Xinqin felt her brain shake and was completely dumbfounded. Green lotus divine sword? Their green lotus sword sect guarding divine sword gone? It was taken away? Such a strong impact even overshadowed the intense pain of the white tiger sacred body being burned by the great sun true fire, causing her to be stunned on the spot. After a while, the pain of the white tiger divine soul almost being burned to ashes by the great sun true fire made her suddenly wake up. She couldn't help but scream, "My green lotus divine sword! What do you mean by your green lotus divine sword? If I'm not mistaken, this green lotus divine sword has a great opportunity with me. It is part of a treasure given to me by an almighty behind me. In order to confirm whether this thing originally belonged to me, I have to take it back and study it. If I'm wrong, I will return the green lotus divine sword to its original owner and repay your green lotus sword sect." Xinghui said faintly and directly determined the matter of taking away the green lotus divine sword. "A part of your treasure? What a bunch of nonsense. You're talking nonsense. You clearly want to take possession of our green lotus sword sect's green lotus divine sword." Xinqin felt the white tiger sacred body being burned fiercely by the great sun true fire, and almost completely dissipated. She had no choice but to directly collapse most of the White Tiger's sacred body that was contaminated by the Great Sun True Fire. More than half of the White Tiger's sacred body that was burned to less than 80 meters collapsed again in an instant. The remaining power of less than 40 meters shrank back into the body. But even so, looking at the heavy loss of the White Tiger divine soul, Shin Qin's eyes were still full of resentment. It would take at least 2 or 3 years to recover from such a heavy injury. If something went wrong, she might even lose her foundation and be unable to fully manifest the White Tiger's sacred body. Thinking of this, the resentment in her heart almost broke through the sky. She immediately roared at the prominent divine stage supreme elders who were watching the battle below. What are you looking at? This Cho Tsing Hui is clearly aiming to destroy our Green Lotus Sword sect. Now, even our Green Lotus divine sword has been taken away. As the supreme elders of our Green Lotus Sword sect, are you just going to watch him act unscrupulously in our Green Lotus Sword sect? In fact, there was no need for Shen Qin to speak. When they saw Tsing Hui take away the Green Lotus divine sword, Tan Feng, Shuoguang, and the other supreme elders panicked. They quickly rushed into the void and surrounded Tsing Hui. They said with a stern expression, "Supreme Elder Tsing Hui, your spar with Supreme Elder Shen Qin has ended. We admit that Supreme Elder Tsing Hui is slightly better. However, the Green Lotus Divine Sword is our Green Lotus Sword sect's sect-guarding divine sword. Everyone in the Eastern Wasteland knows this. We ask Supreme Elder Tsing Hui to hand over the Green Lotus Divine Sword and return it to our Green Lotus Sword sect." That's right. We ask Supreme Elder Tsing Hui to return the Green Lotus Divine Sword to our Green Lotus Sword sect. The other Grand Elders all echoed in agreement. Oh! Tsing Hui's gaze swept across the Supreme Elders, including Tan Feng. Originally, he did not intend to go against the Green Lotus Sword sect. After all, there was a first-rate chaos organization behind the Green Lotus Sword sect. Although these chaos organizations could not reach the level of Sky Vault, Sword Shadow, Supreme Elder, and Judgment, they were able to develop their forces outside of Heaven Wasteland domain. They were clearly first-rate chaos organizations that had at least a Son of Chaos at the 25th step. These chaos organizations often had powerful experts in charge, which was troublesome. However, after learning that the Green Lotus Divine Sword of the Green Lotus Sword sect was related to his broken sword, he had already made up his mind to take the Green Lotus Divine Sword for himself. Although he could now use the Nine Heavens astral wind to temper his primordial spirit, the efficiency was really too slow. It would take at least a few years to raise his mental power level to the 100th step. However, if he could use the Green Lotus Divine Sword as a carrier and guide more of the sword intent in the broken sword into the Green Lotus Divine Sword, he would certainly be able to make the sword intent in the Green Lotus Divine Sword stronger. At that time, it would definitely have a tempering effect on his mental power. Even if the effect could not last long as his mental power level could reach the 90th step as soon as possible, or even the 100th step, it would ensure that he would not be killed by the powerful experts who used his consciousness as a sword in the battle against the chaos. I've already said that the materials used to forge this Green Lotus Divine Sword are most likely a part of the treasure bestowed upon me by an almighty behind me. After all of you should be clear about the details of the Green Lotus Divine Sword. Originally, it was only a level 9 divine weapon, or even a level 8 divine weapon, but after adding that fragment of the broken sword, it could reach the level of a level 10 divine weapon. Therefore, I need to take it back and study it carefully. Furthermore, I'm not trying to snatch the Green Lotus Divine Sword from your Green Lotus Sword sect. If I can determine that this Green Lotus Divine Sword has nothing to do with the treasure bestowed upon me by the Almighty behind me, I will naturally return it to you. Tsing Hui spoke unhurriedly, but his tone was unquestionable. Grand Elder Tsing Hui, the Green Lotus Divine Sword is the most precious divine sword of our Green Lotus Sword sect and cannot be lost. If you insist on forcibly taking possession of our Green Lotus Sword sect's divine sword, then don't blame us for offending you. I believe that even if this matter really blows up and the Hunyuan Heaven sect learns of it, the Hunyuan Heaven sect will not blame us for what we have done. Tan Feng tightly grasped the 8th step divine weapon in his hand, looking at Tsing Hui with a threatening gaze. What, do you want to attack me? What are you waiting for? The manifestation of the golden crow divine body consumes a great deal of one's strength. In the battle with me just now, he probably has less than half of his true chi left. If you all swarm him now, you will definitely be able to greatly consume the strength of his golden crow divine body. When his true chi is exhausted, the golden crow divine body will not be able to be manifested, and the only thing waiting for him is to be slaughtered. When that time comes, you can force him to hand over the green lotus divine sword. Do you think he will dare to refuse? Shen Qin roared from the side. Tan Feng glanced at Shen Qin and muttered in his heart, aren't they waiting for Tsing Hui's divine technique to end? However, after calculating the time, Tsing Hui's divine technique should be about to end. In order to prevent him from sensing the unfavorable situation and immediately escaping, they had to make the first move. Elder Tsing Hui, since you are so stubborn and insist on snatching the Green Lotus divine sword from our Green Lotus sword sect, then don't blame us for offending you. Attack. Entangle him and don't let him escape. Tan Feng roared and immediately coordinated with the remaining 6 Grand Elders to form a battle formation. The auras of the 6 people were almost connected as one. Tsing Hui seemed to understand Tan Feng's thoughts and immediately smiled faintly. I'm afraid the few of you are not qualified to be my enemy. With a chuckle, the golden crow divine body once again surged, carrying a terrifying and blazing torrent of energy as it rushed towards Tan Feng at the forefront. On the divine body, the great sun true fire appeared. The terrifying heat that was enough to distort the void caused Tan Feng's expression to change. Oh no! Tan Feng's figure rapidly retreated. He had originally planned to entangle, but now he couldn't care less. He manifested his divine body and a 6-winged divine tiger appeared above his head. It roared and tore the void, trying to block the great sun true fire that swept out from the golden crow divine body. When the other Grand Elders saw that Tan Feng was quickly in danger, they could only manifest their divine bodies and launch harassing attacks at Tsing Hui from the side. They wanted to force Tsing Hui to change his body and use the golden crow divine body to resist their attacks. Unfortunately, although there were many prominent divine stage experts in the Green Lotus Sword sect, including the sect master, there were only sect master Tan Feng, first Grand Elder Shen Qin, and second Grand Elder Huabalian, who had cultivated a divine body. Among them, Huabalian had condensed the Zhuyan sacred body, and it was done with great difficulty. Among the 3 divine bodies, Shen Qin had already been crippled by Tsing Hui, and Tan Feng was completely suppressed by him. The only one left that could make him slightly surprised was Huabalian's Zhuyan sacred body. Under these circumstances, all Qing Su did was split a portion of the wings from the golden crow avatar, and unleash the scorching true flames of the grand sun. It directly set Huabalian's scarlet ape sacred body ablaze, and Huabalian, who was connected to his soul, produced a painful cry as he retreated rapidly. Compared to Huabalian, who was the focus of the grand sun primordial fire, the attacks of the other great elders were a little awkward. Although their spiritual battle bodies were powerful, they were greatly suppressed by the golden crow divine body. When their seemingly powerful attacks hit the golden crow divine body, most of them were burned by the blazing flames of the golden crow divine body. When their attacks landed on the golden crow divine body, they were also burned, and their saint bodies dimmed a little. That's it. Tsing Hui felt the shock of the golden crow divine body when it was attacked. He stepped forward indifferently, and the golden crow divine body completely pounced on Tan Feng's 6-winged sacred tiger. The great sun true fire was ignited. Even though Tan Feng immediately used the 6-winged sacred tiger's innate ability and formed a sword light on the surface of his divine body, it was still difficult to resist the burning of the great sun true fire. With a shrill scream, his 6-winged sacred tiger had dimmed by more than half. If this continued, the golden crow divine body in front of him only needed one more great sun true fire to burn his 6-winged sacred tiger to ashes. A divine body. Is this the power of a divine body? Although the attacks of our divine body have injured him, the burns on our bodies are not light either. And this is to the extent that he doesn't resist our attacks at all. If it were a one-on-one fight, wouldn't it mean that even if Tsing Hui didn't do anything and just used his golden crow divine body, and let us attack him freely, Our own bodies would be burned to ashes by the terrifying flames of the Golden Crow divine body after we defeated his Golden Crow divine body? What's going on? How can he hold on for so long? The Great Sun True Fire is a powerful innate ability of the Golden Crow, but it also consumes a lot of energy. He shouldn't be able to hold on any longer. Why does it look like the power of his divine body hasn't weakened much? It's reasonable to say that the divine technique's time should be up, but he's still holding on. Could it be that his divine technique isn't just at level 1, but level 2? The 6 great elders of the Green Lotus Sword Sect and Sect Master Tanfeng had joined forces, but they were still beaten badly by Xinghui in the end. In particular, Tanfeng and Huabalian, who were the focus of his attacks, were burned by the Great Sun True Fire. Their essence, chi, and spirit dropped a lot. If this continued, it was only a matter of time before the 7 Vision Divine Stage experts were defeated. Chapter 369. This is Alliance Leader Xinghui's true strength. First, he defeated our Green Lotus Sword Sect's first Grand Elder, Shenqin. Now he's even able to handle the siege of our 7 Grand Elders with ease? And he's even gained the upper hand now? Moreover, after such a long battle, neither his divine art nor his Golden Crow divine body showed any signs of weakening? This is simply incredible. When Hui looked at Xinghui, who had displayed his divine power and suppressed almost all the high-level experts of the Green Lotus Sword Sect, and could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Thinking back to when he first thought that he had condensed the White Tiger divine body, and was in the Green Lotus Sword Sect, which was his territory, he faintly had the thought of disobeying Xinghui. He immediately broke out in a cold sweat. If he really dared to disobey Xinghui's orders, even if he was in the Green Lotus Sword Sect and had condensed the White Tiger divine body, he would not be able to escape death. Even if all the Grand Elders of the Green Lotus Sword Sect attacked at the same time, they might not be able to save him. It was not just Wen Hui, Dong Zhongming, Wen Chuanshi, and the various elders and mountain lords of the Green Lotus Sword Sect who had come after hearing the news all fell silent when they saw Qing Su take on the 7 Vision Sainthood experts of their sect all by himself. How can he be so strong? Isn't he also a prominent saint expert? Even if he has a divine-grade battle body, it's impossible for him to be so strong. When the 7 prominent saint experts of the Green Lotus Sword Sect attacked together, even a first-layer saint expert would have to avoid them. How can he still have the upper hand? He's trying to suppress the entire Green Lotus Sword Sect with his own strength. Hunyuan Heavenly Sect's Cho Xinghui is really so powerful? No wonder the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect didn't dare to take revenge on him after losing 2 Grand Elders to him. It's actually because of this reason. When Hui actually obtained the support of such a top giant. From now on, who in the Green Lotus Sword Sect can be his competitor? Everyone from the Green Lotus Sword Sect widened their eyes in shock and disbelief. Wen Chuanshi, Wen Xing, Wen Hua, and the others were trembling, shrinking their necks. When they thought of how they had actually planned to exclude Xinghui's benefits and downplay his kindness to the Wen family, they all felt a chill in their hearts. If their actions at that time had angered this invincible giant who was stronger than true energy boundary experts and caused him to destroy the entire Wen family in a fit of anger, who in the entire Green Lotus Sword Sect would be able to resist him? It was no wonder that even though Wen Hui had broken through to the Vision Divine stage and condensed the White Tiger saintly body, he was still so wary of Xinghui. It was because of this reason. The Green Lotus Sword Sect. If they don't win today's battle, their reputation will be completely ruined, and they will become the stepping stone for Xinghui's rise. Some of the knowledgeable people of the Green Lotus Sword Sect were worried. Unfortunately, their worries couldn't change the situation of the battle in the void. As the power of the Golden Crow saintly body continued to erupt, Tanfeng and Huabalian were facing the end of being completely crippled. Once these 2 cultivators of the saint-grade battle body were defeated, how long could the remaining Vision Divine stage experts of the spiritual grade battle body last? It was only a matter of time before they were defeated. The Green Lotus Sword Sect absolutely can't accept this humiliation. Shenqin seemed to have noticed the abnormality of the situation and looked unwilling. The next moment, She took out a jade talisman in her hand and crushed it. Not long after the jade talisman was crushed, two powerful auras rose again from the forbidden area of the back mountain of the Green Lotus Sword sect, breaking through the air at an extremely fast speed. True energy boundary? Xinghui glanced in the direction of the forbidden area of the Green Lotus Sword sect with a look of surprise, but after thinking about it carefully, it made sense. Although most true energy boundary experts would choose to leave the Heaven Wasteland domain, the journey to the Heaven Wasteland domain was not necessarily safe. Without several true energy boundary experts in a group, they might not dare to take the risk. As a result, they naturally lived in seclusion in the sect. On one hand, they avoided the world and did their best to improve their cultivation in order to reach the Endless Realm. On the other hand, they were the trump card of the sect, guarding the safety of the sect. Who dares to offend my Green Lotus Sword sect? Accompanied by a fierce shout, two figures, one man and one woman, came from the direction of the forbidden area of the Green Lotus Sword sect, and quickly appeared in the void of the battlefield. Seeing the two figures, the faces of Wen Hui, Wen Chuanshi, Dong Zhongming, and the others changed. That's the Lotus Ancestor and the Nanshan Ancestor? Didn't the Lotus Ancestor go to the Heaven Wasteland domain with the Qianquan Sacred Land team 30 years ago? I didn't expect the Ancestor to still live in seclusion in our Green Lotus Sword sect. The Nanshan Ancestor is said to have passed away 24 years ago? How come she is still silently guarding our Green Lotus Sword sect? Good. Great, I didn't expect the Lotus Ancestor and the Nanshan Ancestor to still be here. With these two true energy realm ancestors, even if Xinghui has the ability to reach the heavens, how can he be a match for the two ancestors and the seven great elders? The elders and mountain masters of the Green Lotus Sword sect all cheered at the same time. Sure enough, after beating the young, the old came. Xinghui looked at the two true energy realm experts who were rapidly approaching the battlefield. Even though the aura of the two true energy realm experts was quite decaying and seemed to be dying, he could not underestimate them. Seeing that the seven great elders, including Tan Feng, Huabalian and Shuaguang, were greatly excited by the arrival of the two true energy realm experts and were about to engage him again, he immediately took a deep breath. The Golden Crow Divine Body, which was originally surrounded by flames, exploded with an unprecedented bright brilliance. A suffocating torrent of destruction, with Xinghui as the center, suddenly burst out with a loud bang. Resplendent eternity. Not good. Quick. Retreat. Careful. Feeling the suffocating torrent of destruction emitted from the Golden Crow Divine Body, the great elders of the Green Lotus Sword sect and the clan leader Tan Feng let out shrill roars at the same time, and all of them madly fled in all directions with their fastest speed. But no matter how fast they fled, how could they be faster than the explosive power formed by the resplendent eternity? No. Under the cries of the Lotus Ancestor, the Nanshan Ancestor, and the first great elder Shinqin in disbelief, endless light and heat instantly engulfed Tan Feng, Huabalian, Shuaguang, and the other prominent divine stage experts who surrounded Xinghui. In the void, it was as if a great sun had exploded. The dazzling light illuminated the horizon, blinding the eyes of countless ordinary disciples of the Green Lotus Sword sect who were watching this battlefield. As painful cries came out from their mouths, they were immediately covered by the rumbling sound formed by the explosion of the resplendent eternity. Everything in the world was overshadowed by this destructive torrent of destruction formed by the explosion. Chou Xinghui, I'm going to kill you. Shinqin looked at the great elders and clan leader Tan Feng who were engulfed by the resplendent eternity. Her eyes were blood-red as she let out a crazed cry. How dare you start a massacre in my Green Lotus Sword sect? Die for me. The Lotus Ancestor and the Nanshan Ancestor, who had rushed to the battlefield at the first moment, let out furious roars. One by one, they activated their battle physiques and used their powerful innate abilities to tear apart the destructive torrent of destruction left behind by the resplendent eternity, creating a gap in it. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Tan Feng and Huabalian, who had relied on the power of their saint-grade battle physiques to preserve their lives, quickly rushed out as fast as they could. In addition, Shuaguang and another great elder who had a saint-grade battle physique also rushed out of the flames. The 4 of them were pitch black and extremely miserable. As for the remaining 3 prominent divine stage experts, they were directly turned into ashes by the power of the resplendent eternity. Ah, little thief, how dare you bully my Green Lotus Sword sect? My Green Lotus Sword sect will not rest until you are dead. The Lotus ancestor let out a crazed roar as the battle physique that tore apart the aftermath of the resplendent eternity's explosion charged straight towards Tsing Hui, who was at the center of the explosion, in a futile attempt to take revenge. Bang! Before the attacks of the 2 true element stage ancestors could tear apart Tsing Hui, who was at the center of the explosion, a loud roar sounded from the center of the flames. An attack mixed with the Great Sun True Fire tore apart the battle physiques of the 2 true element stage ancestors. At the same time, 6 streams of light appeared at the same time, and rose into the sky before erupting with a brilliant radiance. They were like 6 blazing suns that exploded the resplendent eternity. The heat and destructive torrent that had not completely dissipated completely solidified, and then poured into the Golden Crow divine body. 10 suns burning the heavens. This was the supreme immortal technique, 10 suns burning the heavens. The Golden Crow divine body that had been weakened by the resplendent eternity immediately became condensed again, after being injected with the energy of the 10 suns burning the heavens. Facing the attacks of the 2 true element stage experts of the Green Lotus Sword sect, it did not hesitate to meet them head-on. The attack mixed with the Great Sun True Fire tore apart the saint physique of the 2 true element stage experts. Even though they were both true element stage experts, they only had ordinary spirit grade battle physiques. How could they be a match for the Golden Crow divine body? With one attack, the Lotus ancestor's battle physique was almost torn apart, and even the Nanshun ancestor's battle physique was affected by the Great Sun True Fire and spontaneously ignited. What kind of evil technique is this? The 2 true element boundary ancestors were aghast and quickly retreated. How could this be? How could this be? Shinqin originally thought that the 2 true element stage ancestors would be able to defeat Tsing Hui, but her crazy expression suddenly froze. The advantage of a true element stage expert compared to a vision divine stage expert was that the energy in their body was denser. Because their gaseous true qi was compressed into liquid true essence, the total amount of energy in their body was 10 times that of a vision divine stage expert. However, this did not mean that a true element stage expert's spirit grade battle physique could be compared to a vision divine stage expert's divine grade battle physique. If a true element stage expert wanted to defeat a vision divine stage expert, there was only one way, and that was to wear them out. Using the energy in one's body that was far stronger than the opponent's, they would directly exhaust the opponent's true qi and make them unable to manifest their battle physique. Then they would unleash their battle physique and kill the target in one fell swoop. This was the correct tactic for a true element stage expert to use against a vision divine stage expert. After all, for a vision divine stage expert, manifesting their battle physique to fight was too much of a burden and consumption. But now, looking at the Golden Crow divine physique that had not been weakened even after fighting for close to 100 breaths, everyone, including Shinqin, felt that their common sense of the past had been completely overturned. Qingsu did not worry about exhausting himself at all. He was like a neverless realm expert who had cultivated his true qi to the 3rd layer of the Saint Realm. His qi had formed a cycle that would never end. If this continued, let alone the 2 ancestors exhausting Qingsu's true qi, it would end up being Qingsu exhausting the 2 true Yuan realm experts of the Green Lotus Sword sect to death with just his true qi. If anything were to happen to these 2 true element stage patriarchs, their Green Lotus Sword sect would truly be finished. Chapter 370. Didn't you say you would fight to the death? Since you're here, don't leave. How could Tsing Hui let the 2 ancestors of the Green Lotus Sword sect escape from the range of the 10 suns burning the heavens? His goal was to completely subdue the entire Green Lotus Sword sect, so that no one would dare to question Wen Hui's ascension to the position of sect master. If those 2 old farts were still disobedient and stirred up trouble from time to time, how could he have so much time to keep an eye on them? The best way was to use this battle to completely eliminate all the threats of the Green Lotus Sword sect once and for all. The The golden raven let out a long, resonant cry. With the assistance of the 10 sun-burning immortals technique, not only could the golden raven's depleted energy be continuously replenished, even its attacks were significantly enhanced. The grand sun primordial fire, which was originally only covering the surface of the claw, seemed to turn into a fireball and directly exploded on the lotus ancestor's body. The terrifying flames, which were enough to incinerate iron into water, exploded the moment they touched the lotus ancestor's body, causing the lotus ancestor to let out a shrill scream. His body immediately dimmed greatly. Oh no! At the side, Elder Nanshan saw that Elder Lotus Flower was in danger, and suddenly rushed into the battlefield again in a futile attempt to rescue him. However, before he could save Elder Lotus Flower, the wings of the Golden Crow divine body had already swept down fiercely with monstrous flames and sent him flying. Get lost! Xing Hui shouted. The moment the Golden Crow divine body's wings collided with the Nanshan ancestor's body, the flames exploded and the dazzling grand sun primordial fire sputtered, almost blowing a small part of his body into pieces. In the state of manifested body, the grade of the body directly determined the strength of the two cultivators. There was no exception even if one was in the true energy realm, and the other was in the prominent divine realm. Not to mention, under the enhancement of the 10 suns burning the heavens domain, the power of Xing Hui's Golden Crow divine body had almost reached the limit of all Golden Crow divine bodies. Shatter. After slapping away the Nanshan ancestor's battle form, Xing Hui's Golden Crow body charged forward again. Like an eagle soaring through the sky, its sharp claws viciously grasped the lotus ancestor's battle form that was gradually dimming. The grand sun primordial fire erupted, exploding in all directions. When the battle form was almost blown apart, the Golden Crow body suddenly tore, and completely tore the lotus ancestor's battle form to pieces. Ah! With his combat body shattered, the lotus ancestor cried out in pain. His face was extremely pale, and he could not even circulate his protective aura chi. His body was set ablaze by the terrifying flames of the 10 suns burning the heavens. If this continued, this true energy realm expert would be burned to ashes in a few breaths of time by the domain of the 10 suns burning the heavens. Seeing this result, all the practitioners of the Green Lotus Sword sect, from the elders and mountain masters to the disciples and servants, all widened their eyes and cried out in shock. Defeated! Defeated! Even the true energy stage Lotus Ancestor was defeated in just a few moves? The first Grand Elder, Shin Qin, who had placed high hopes on the arrival of the Lotus Ancestor and Nanshan Ancestor, could no longer care about hatred and anger. She had already revealed all her trump cards. An unprecedented fear swept over her body, causing her entire body to turn ice cold. The bloody scene before her suddenly forced her heart into an endless abyss. Was the Green Lotus Sword sect finished? Stop! Stop! Elder Xing Hui, please stop! Seeing the Lotus Ancestor's life hanging by a thread, the Nanshan Ancestor was completely terrified. He hurriedly shouted, "It's a misunderstanding. I think there must be some misunderstanding between us. Our Green Lotus Sword sect and the Hunyuan Heaven sect have been on good terms for generations, and there has never been any conflict between us. Why would the Green Lotus Sword sect make Elder Xing Hui so angry?" "Oh, now you know it's a misunderstanding? I only borrowed your Green Lotus Sword sect's Green Lotus Divine Sword to study, but you're so unforgiving? Do you really think I, Xing Hui, am easy to bully?" Xing Hui slowly withdrew the power of the Golden Crow divine body, but did not stop the 10 suns burning the heavens. Even so, the terrifying flames and heat still turned the void into a blazing purgatory. Even the temperature of the Green Lotus Sword sect, which was thousands of meters below, rose sharply. It was unknown how many dry things were set ablaze. Blazing flames and rising smoke could be seen everywhere. The entire Green Lotus Sword sect seemed to have been bombarded by firepower and turned into a mess. Borrow our Green Lotus Sword sect's Green Lotus Divine Sword to study. The Nanshan Ancestor almost vomited blood when he heard this. He almost couldn't stop himself from cursing. But he glanced at Shin Qin and the Lotus Ancestor, whose battle bodies had been destroyed, and then at Tan Feng and Huabalian, who had fainted due to their heavy injuries. He forcefully swallowed back his thoughts of cursing. This, Elder Xing Hui, The Green Lotus Divine Sword is really the most important treasure of our Green Lotus Sword sect. The reason why our Green Lotus Sword sect can establish itself in the Eastern Wilderness is because of the Green Lotus Divine Sword's deterrence to other sections. If we lose the Green Lotus Divine Sword, I'm afraid our sect will be destroyed. How about I take Elder Tsing Hui to our Green Lotus Sword sect's treasury? If Elder Tsing Hui takes a fancy to anything, we will definitely give it to you with both hands. The Nanshan ancestor lowered his head and tried his best to express his attitude in a tactful tone. He was afraid that he would completely enrage the invincible expert who had suppressed their Green Lotus Sword sect with his strength alone. I didn't come to your Green Lotus Sword sect to rob you. According to what you're saying, am I, the Grand Elder of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, different from other bandits? Furthermore, it's not like I want to steal your Green Lotus Sword sect's Green Lotus Divine Sword. It's just that this sword seems to have some sort of relationship with me, so I need to bring this sword back and study it carefully. After studying this sword, if it is proven that it has nothing to do with the other treasure on my body, I will naturally return it to its rightful owner. That's the most important sword of our Green Lotus Sword sect. Can it be taken away by the outside world? Patriarch Nanshan really wanted to shout these words, but unfortunately he did not have the courage to say these words when he saw the Green Lotus Sword sect's upper echelon members who had been beaten to a pulp. He could only lower his voice and lower his stance. If you only want to borrow our Green Lotus Sword sect's Green Lotus Divine Sword to take a look, we can discuss it. Why did Elder Ching Su have to make such a big fuss and kill my Green Lotus Sword sect's Grand Elder? You should know that our Green Lotus Sword sect and the Hunyuan Heaven sect have a common enemy, and that is the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. Now that our two sects are fighting each other, it will only make us sad and our enemies happy. I also didn't want to, but your Green Lotus Sword sect's Grand Elder Shinqin misunderstood my intentions. Or perhaps she thought that I was easy to bully. She actually colluded with your Green Lotus Sword sect's Grand Elder to attack me. You also know that I am only a little Vision Saint stage cultivator. Facing the siege of several experts of the same stage, I was surrounded by danger and had no choice but to use my full strength. Once I used my full strength, I naturally couldn't stop myself, which led to the deaths of several Grand Elders of your sect. Strictly speaking, the fault of this matter is your Green Lotus Sword sect's Grand Elder Shinqin, not me. If she hadn't stubbornly tried to stop me, would your Green Lotus Sword sect have suffered such a disaster? Easy to bully. These three words from Tsing Hui's mouth made the Nanshan ancestor so upset that he almost vomited blood. Who was bullying who? Elder Tsing Hui, don't worry. Shinqin has committed such a mistake, so we will definitely punish her severely. There's no need to punish her severely. After all, her original intention was for the sake of your Green Lotus Sword sect's sect guarding Divine Sword. If the punishment is too heavy, it will chill the hearts of everyone. Our Green Lotus Sword sect, Hunyuan Heavenly sect, and even the Jinwu religion have a common enemy, which is the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. We might as well send Grand Elder Shinqin to the God Burial Valley to assist the Limitless Sword sect in resisting the invasion of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. This way, she can temper her cultivation and break through to the true element boundary early. Secondly, if she can kill several Grand Elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, it will be a great merit. Go to the God Burial Valley. The Nanshan ancestor's expression immediately changed. The God Burial Valley was the front line of the war between the Limitless Sword sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. In that place, 1 or 2 prominent sage experts would die every year. If Shinqin's battle physique had not been destroyed by Tsing Hui, she might have had a chance to protect herself in the God Burial Valley. But now her battle physique had collapsed and it would take several years for her to recover. If she was careless and headed to the God Burial Valley battlefield at this time, that would be the end result of death and the disappearance of his Tao. Moreover, if she went to the God Burial Valley battlefield and left the headquarters of the Green Lotus Sword sect, her influence in the Green Lotus Sword sect would be greatly reduced. It would not be long before her influence in the Green Lotus Sword sect was uprooted by Wen Hui. At that time, even if she redeemed herself and returned, she could forget about covering the sky with one hand in the Green Lotus Sword sect. What? Could it be that the Green Lotus Sword sect is not willing to resist the Create Evolve Mysterious sect with our Hunyuan Heavenly sect, Limitless Sword sect, and other forces? Sing Hui's expression sank slightly. The 10 suns burning heaven's immortal art that he had yet to withdraw was blazing with flames. The temperature in the air seemed to rise sharply. I am willing to head to the God Burial Valley. Hearing the threat in Sing Hui's words, Shen Qin took a deep breath. Because of her, the Green Lotus Sword sect had suffered heavy losses. No matter what, she had to pay the price for this. Even though heading to the God Burial Valley was extremely dangerous for her, it was not impossible. If she was able to stimulate her potential and step into the true energy stage during the battle with the Create Evolve Mysterious sect's prominent sage experts, she might have a chance to avenge today's humiliation. As for leaving the Green Lotus Sword sect, it was equivalent to leaving the center of power of the Green Lotus Sword sect. After today's battle, how could Wen Hui, who had Sing Hui's support, allow her to dominate the Green Lotus Sword sect and become the uncrowned king? Nan Shun seemed to understand Shen Qin's meaning. After hesitating for a while, he finally nodded and agreed to Shen Qin's decision. Since Grand Elder Shen Qin is willing to head to the God Burial Valley to atone for your crimes, then we will follow this method. Grand Elder Tsing Hui, what do you think? This is an internal matter of your Green Lotus Sword sect. I naturally cannot interfere. I only gave a suggestion. Tsing Hui said with a faint smile. The corners of Nan Shun's mouth twitched. Then it's decided. After speaking, he hurriedly shouted at a somewhat familiar mountain lord. Why aren't you bringing Sect Master Tan Feng and Elder Huabalian to treat their injuries? Yes. The mountain lord hurriedly responded and quickly left with Tan Feng and Huabalian. As for the Dong family, Ancestor Nan Shun tacitly allowed Wen Hui and Sing Hui to deal with them. No one mentioned this point again. Chapter 371. The matter of Tsing Hui gradually came to an end. The ancestor of Nan Shun held back his frustration and invited Qing Su out of courtesy. Qing Su also understood that he had just killed 3 great elders, so he definitely would not be welcomed. As a result, he did not insist on it and returned to the Wen family. Not long ago, Sing Hui had taken Wen Hui back to the Wen clan. At that time, although he had the status of a great elder of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, the people of the Wen clan did not like him very much. After learning that Wen Hui had some special transactions with him, they wanted to dilute his existence and exclude him from the Wen clan circle. But this time, after witnessing Sing Hui single-handedly subduing the entire Green Lotus Sword sect, suppressing the Green Lotus Divine Sword, and killing the 3 great elders of the sect, everyone in the Wen clan was as silent as cicadas in winter when facing Sing Hui. They all trembled in fear, and did not dare to show the slightest disrespect in front of him. I didn't expect that in the end. I still have to rely on my lord. If it weren't for my lord, even if I could become the master of the Green Lotus Sword sect, I would not be able to completely control the Green Lotus Sword sect and complete the various tasks that my lord has given me. Wen Hui's face was tinged with a hint of guilt. It doesn't matter. It's reasonable that you can't subdue the Green Lotus Sword sect with your cultivation. The people of the Green Lotus Sword sect won't make any more trouble, right? The appearance of the 2 experts of the true energy boundary gave me a fright. In fact, I was also quite surprised that there were 2 experts of the true energy boundary in the Green Lotus Sword sect. Of the 2 ancestors, the Lotus ancestor was said to have gone to Heaven Wasteland decades ago, but I don't know why he is still in our sect. As for Ancestor Nan Shun, it was said that he had passed away a long time ago. I didn't expect that. Their appearance would also surprise us. As one of the 10 great sects, it's reasonable that they have 1 or 2 ancestors as their final trump cards. Otherwise, wouldn't they have been destroyed long ago? Sing Hui, on the other hand, felt that it was only natural. Wen Hui nodded. The most powerful technique of our Green Lotus Sword sect is the Green Lotus Divine Sword. The Green Lotus Divine Sword has the supreme power to kill the divine soul. Even if a transcendent expert is hit by the sword chi of the Green Lotus Divine Sword, his divine soul will be impacted, and he will be defeated in one blow. This is the foundation of our Green Lotus Sword sect. I just didn't expect the divine soul of our master to be so powerful that even the sword will of the Green Lotus divine sword can't do anything to you. The Azure Lotus divine sword is indeed extraordinary. Xing Hui nodded in agreement. His mental strength had reached the 88th level. Although he had yet to reach the eternal realm, due to the fact that he had condensed his soul, his resistance to mental attacks was 2 or 3 levels higher than his own mental strength. However, under such circumstances, he could only rely on his adaptability to the sword intent of the Azure Lotus divine sword to be immune to the impact of these sword intents. If it had been an ordinary Eternal Realm expert, he might not have been able to come out unscathed under the attack of the Azure Lotus divine sword. As for the Never-Ending Realm, he already had the ability to cross the sea and head to Heaven Wasteland on his own. It was uncertain whether there were any Eternal Realm experts in the entire Eastern Wilderness. Go and deal with the chaotic organization behind the Green Lotus Sword sect. If there is no need, we shouldn't have a conflict with them. Rest assured, Master. The chaotic organization behind the Green Lotus Sword sect has never interfered with our affairs. As long as the person in charge of the Green Lotus Sword sect is a member of the Green Lotus Sword sect and pays tribute according to the rules, they will not interfere with the internal affairs of the Green Lotus Sword sect. There have been more than 1 or 2 sect masters like me who forcibly took over the position and wanted to control the Green Lotus Sword sect. When Hui replied, "Oh, when is the next time the Green Lotus Sword sect pays tribute? I can push it back to 6 years at the latest." 6 years. That's enough. Xing Hui nodded. At present, he only needed to collect the accumulated Dao aura of the Green Lotus Sword sect, and did not intend to interfere too much in other matters. As for 6 years later, it was unknown whether the chaotic organization behind the Green Lotus Sword sect could still pose a threat to him. I believe that you will be the sect master of the Green Lotus Sword sect. However, if you want to control the Green Lotus Sword sect well, the deterrence that I bring is far from enough. You have to use both kindness and power to rule the sect for a long time. This is the main reason why I want you to be the sect master of the Green Lotus Sword sect. Master, you mean? In the Life Alliance, as long as you have Dao aura items, you can exchange them for many divine weapons and heaven and earth treasures. I will transfer this exchange standard to the Green Lotus Sword sect. You can use those divine weapons as bait, and make those cultivators contribute their Dao aura items as soon as possible. Our Green Lotus Sword sect is different from the Life Alliance. There is a chaotic organization behind the Green Lotus Sword sect. Even though the chaotic organization did not give us a high price, it is still equivalent to 1 Dao aura of a low-quality divine weapon of the 5th level. If we only follow the Life Alliance's standard, those elders who have a large number of Dao aura items may not be willing to take out all of their Dao aura items. Do you know how many Dao aura items the cultivators of the Green Lotus Sword sect have? Wen Hui smiled bitterly. No one has been able to find out the exact number, but it's likely that the more ancient a clan is, the more treasures they possess. For example, our Wen family is one of the top 10 clans in the Green Lotus Sword sect. Coupled with the fact that we've produced a son of chaos like me, we've been particularly diligent in collecting treasures. Over countless years, we've accumulated treasures with 22 points of the Rime of Ways. If the other clans haven't replaced their treasures, they shouldn't have lost out by much. Xing Hui pondered for a moment. After a while, he seemed to have thought of something. Most of the cultivators of the Green Lotus Sword sect mainly have the White Tiger bloodline, right? Indeed, 80% of the cultivators mainly have the White Tiger bloodline, or are derived from it. Very good. I need you to hold an auction. The items to be auctioned in this auction will mainly be 6th-level divine weapons, armors, and flying swords. The auction prices should be lower. For example, the starting price of a high-quality 5th-level divine weapon is only 1 Dao aura, and the final item is a bottle of blood essence of the 12th-level White Tiger Sacred Beast. Blood essence of the White Tiger Sacred Beast? When Hui's eyes suddenly lit up. The cultivators of the Green Lotus Sword sect should not want the number of Dao aura items on them to be exposed. In order to ensure that the identities of those people are kept secret, you can do it secretly. However, this so-called secret is not really secret. You can find someone you trust to spread the news of the auction. The news must make people think that this auction will not be known by too many people. At the same time, you can also promise that all the participants of the auction can wear a mask when bidding, and that you, the organizer of the auction, will not let anyone's identity be leaked. Qingsu paused slightly when he reached there. Also, you want people to think that only the elders and mountain lords who have joined you long ago have the right to know about this. The true reason why you're holding this auction is so that you can reach the 10th level as soon as possible, as well as to give benefits to the people who have joined you. After all, even the starting price of a Class 5 high-quality god artifact is only 1 aura of truth. Anyone can understand just how beneficial that is. Although Tsing Hui had made this auction so complicated, when Hui's eyes immediately lit up when he thought about the meaning behind it. Master, this method is really good. Those who receive this news can hide their identities, and naturally feel less pressure to expose the Dao aura items on them. Moreover, Master said that the real purpose of this auction is to give benefits to those who have surrendered to me. Since they are cultivators who have surrendered to me, I will not harm them. After all, a disloyal sect is not conducive to my rule. With these two factors combined, those who are worried about me can disguise themselves as my subordinates and secretly attend this auction. They can ensure their own safety, and can also buy heaven and earth treasures and divine weapons that they are satisfied with at a very low price. Yes, that's right. Tsing Hui nodded. I'm just giving you a general direction. You can see how to operate it. Please rest assured, Master. This subordinate will definitely handle this matter properly. Good. Although the auction needs some time to prepare, it will only be held within your sect, and I don't have much time. Therefore, the auction will be held 1 month later. 1 month? When Hui was slightly taken aback. He hesitated. Master, can the Almighty Senior behind you send these treasures to the Eastern Wilderness in such a short time? This is not a question you need to ask. Ordinary Almighties cannot do it, but the one behind me may be able to do it. Hearing this, Wen Hui could not help but respect Tsing Hui even more. He hurriedly said, I will arrange it as soon as possible. Yes, the news of the Green Lotus Sword Sect's inauguration ceremony has already been sent out. It cannot be changed halfway. Therefore, it is very likely that you will soon take over the position of sect leader of the Green Lotus Sword Sect. You do not have much time left. You need to arrange it as soon as possible. Yes. Wen Hui respectfully replied. Then he glanced at Tsing Hui and hesitated for a moment. Master, Senior Nanshan sent me a message just now. He said that he hopes that Master will not reveal what happened to the Green Lotus Sword Sect. Oh? Does he want to keep it a secret? He does not want the world to know that the Green Lotus Sword Sect has lost 3 true energy boundary experts. With so many witnesses, how can he hide it? It is naturally impossible to hide it completely. However, they can mislead others by releasing false information. During this period, some words may damage Master's reputation. That is why they specially asked me to apologize to Master. They are willing to let Master enter the treasury of the Green Lotus Sword Sect and choose a treasure as compensation. Very good. Tell him that I agree. Tsing Hui said. As one of the 10 great sects, the Green Lotus Sword Sect naturally had many good things in its treasury. Even if Nan Shun and the others might have stored the most precious divine weapons in advance, they would not go too far. They believed that he would be able to gain something from it. And what he had to pay was that he could not use this battle to make his name known to the world. He did not particularly care about this. He did not wish for the news of the death of the 3 great elders of the Green Lotus Sword Sect to spread, which would lead to other organizations targeting the Green Lotus Sword Sect. As a result, his plan of plundering all the treasures of the Green Lotus Sword Sect in the next month or 2 would be destroyed. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin Editor, Transin Translator, Transin Editor, Transin Translator, Transin Editor, 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 Transin. Chapter 372. 3 supreme elders of the Green Lotus Sword Sect had fallen at once, which naturally caused a series of internal turmoil. As the culprit of all this, The people of the Green Lotus Sword sect dared to be angry with him, but did not dare to say anything. However, in addition to anger, there was more fear. Xing Hui, through the blood of the 3 supreme elders, coupled with the battle record of defeating 2 true element boundary ancestors, had completely defeated the entire Green Lotus Sword sect, causing the upper echelons of the Green Lotus Sword sect to be terrified of his existence. Once he was mentioned, all of them were silent like cicadas in winter. Fortunately, due to the strong rise of the sect master, Wen Hui as the middle link, the panic of the Green Lotus Sword sect did not spread. Even as the Green Lotus Sword sect continued to pacify the disciples of the sect, coupled with Wen Hui's rapid lobbying, he roped in a group of people to stabilize the order of the sect. In the end, the Green Lotus Sword sect gradually settled down and continued to prepare for the upcoming succession ceremony. The only difference was that in the previous succession ceremony, the successor of the sect master was the genius of the Dong family, Dongyu. But now, it was the new genius who had stepped into the prominent domain stage and condensed the white tiger sacred body, Wen Hui. As for the genius who had almost taken over the throne of the sect master of the Green Lotus Sword sect. This is the treasure you obtained by chance from that cave residence? In a secret room of the One family, Xing Hui looked at the battered and exhausted Dongyu and asked slowly, "Yes, it's all here, it's all here. I didn't dare leave a single thing behind. Great Elder of Qing Su, you're a divine dragon that soars above the 9 heavens. So please don't lower yourself to the same level as an ant like me. I'm willing to give you anything you want, as long as you spare my life." Dongyu stood in front of Xing Hui, trembling with fear, his face full of horror. A treasure with only 6 Dao auras? Xing Hui's expression gradually turned cold. Even though the legacy I obtained contained 103 items that contained the aura of ways, I used 62 of them to raise the level of the chaotic realm. I used the remaining 41 to bribe Great Elder Shinqin into supporting me as the sect master of the Green Lotus Sword sect. And I used a total of 20 items that contain the aura of ways to bribe Great Elder Huabalian, and the remaining 22 to bribe 3 Great Elders, including Huabalian. It was exactly because of these items that the Great Elders spared no effort in supporting me as the sect master of the Green Lotus Sword sect. If Great Elder Qing Su doesn't believe me, I'm willing to confront Elder Huabalian face to face. Dongyu hurriedly, he did not dare to hide anything. A treasure with 103 Dao auras. That's already a level of chaos. You wasted it just like that. Xing Hui glanced at Dongyu and then at the items he'd taken from the Son of Chaos. Since I can't get enough treasures from you, I can only start with your chaos method. Do you need me to force you to do it myself? This is my chaos method. Dongyu's expression was mournful. He hesitated for less than a moment before suppressing the unwillingness in his heart, and quickly offered up his chaos method. Xing Hui pinched the chaos method and tested it. After confirming that it was correct, he nodded slightly. Seeing that Dongyu was so tactful, he couldn't continue to kill him. Since I promised you that I wouldn't kill you, I naturally won't go back on my word. However, the Green Lotus Sword sect needs stability. I don't want any more competition for the sect master's throne. Do you understand what I mean? I understand. Thank you, Elder Xing Hui. Thank you, Elder Xing Hui. I will leave the Green Lotus Sword sect right now and ask to be exiled outside of the Green Lotus Sword sect. I will not affect Wen Hui's rule in the Green Lotus Sword sect in any way. When Dongyu heard that Xing Hui was really willing to let him live, he was pleasantly surprised and bowed repeatedly. You may leave. Xing Hui waved his hand. The main purpose of his visit to the Green Lotus Sword sect was to obtain enough Dao-carrying objects. As for the strife between the various families of the Green Lotus Sword sect, and the struggle between good and evil, he was too lazy to intervene. The Dong family may have been quite excessive to the Wen family, but when the Wen family had the upper hand back then, they were not polite to the Dong family either. This could be guessed from the Wen family's attitude after they gained power. After Dongyu left, Xing Hui took out the many things he said he had obtained from an ancient cave residence. These things were indeed very old. Xing Hui made a little judgment based on his own experience. Among the 6 items, there were 3 that were still somewhat useful, namely a seed, a token, and a piece of bright gold essence. The remaining 3 were either too old, and their effects had weakened to the point that they were of little use to him, or they had been damaged internally and could not be used. I don't know what kind of plant this seed is, but even after tens of thousands of years, it still has a trace of vitality. Moreover, it's just a seed, but it gives me a faint sense of oppression. It's obviously unusual, but I don't know if it can be planted and grown. When my personal space reaches the 10th level, I might as well plant it in my personal space. As for the bright gold essence, it's a 12th level refining material. I can use it whenever I need to forge a sword. Even if I don't need to forge a sword, I can sell it for 12 Dao runes. Xinghui glanced at it, and finally his eyes fell on the token. He had no idea what the medallion was forged from, so Qingsu was unable to tell its origins. However, from the profound aura it gave off, it was not difficult to guess that the medallion was definitely something extraordinary. If I have a chance, I can ask Firmament Master about it. As Qingsu said that, he was about to put the medallion away, but after a moment he seemed to think of something. If he remembered correctly, he still had an appraisal skill. Glancing at the mysterious seed of unknown origin, and the token that was filled with a mysterious aura, he directly activated the identification technique and landed it on the token. After a moment, an extremely simple message appeared in his mind. Although the message was as simple as a name, Xinghui's eyes lit up. Token of the world of battle? This is actually a token of the world of battle? The token of the world of battle was an indispensable treasure to launch a war against the chaos. It could only be produced in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Such a treasure was of little value to the small chaos organizations. Even if it was sold for 10 Tau auras, the small chaos organizations would not be willing to buy it. However, for the large chaos organizations, the first-class chaos organizations, and even the top chaos organizations, the token of the world of battle was an indispensable strategic material. Almost every large chaos organization would prepare 1 to 3 tokens of the world of battle as a backup. Even if Xinghui took this token of the world of battle to the auction, he might not be able to sell it at the price of 100 Tau auras of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. However, if he set it at 80 or 90 Tau auras, he believed that many people would rush to buy it. Good stuff. I didn't expect it to be a token of the world of battle. It's easy to sell. I'll keep it just in case. When the time comes, if I lack Tau auras, I'll sell it directly. Xinghui smiled. Although he missed Dongyu's 98 Tau auras, he could more or less make up for the loss of those Tau auras by getting a token of the world of battle. Only the core experts of the large chaos organizations are qualified to hold the token of the world of battle. In the ancient divine wilderness, the production of Tau auras was not much. It is said that it was only about 50% of the present. Therefore, the number of sons of chaos above level 25 was also very small. In addition, at that time, the cultivation level was very high. Those who could be called powerful people were often the kind who had condensed the divine real body, and were invincible giants who could move freely in the void and create a world with a thought. From this point of view and according to the market at that time, this token of the world of battle might belong to an expert who had condensed the divine real body. The value of that mysterious seed is estimated to be similar to the token of the world of battle. Xinghui smiled faintly. It was a pity that his appraisal technique was only at the first level. If he wanted to find out the name of the mysterious seed, he would have to wait until the cooldown of the appraisal technique tomorrow. As for the detailed effects of the mysterious seed, he would need to have a 4th or 5th level appraisal technique, or even a higher level appraisal technique. The matter of the Green Lotus Sword sect will soon have a result. At that time, there will be hope for dozens or even hundreds of Tau auras. But before that, I have to go to the Heaven Wasteland world again to prepare more White Tiger Blood Essence. The White Tiger Blood Essence has a significant cultivation effect for more than 80% of the cultivators of the Green Lotus Sword sect. With this thought, Xinghui formed a primal chaos seal, and projected his consciousness into the Chaos Temple. Less than a moment after arriving at the Chaos Temple, Naylan Fei unexpectedly appeared in Xinghui's personal space. She happened to run into Xinghui, and couldn't help but reveal a smile on her face. Xinghui, you happen to be here. I have good news to tell you. After a discussion between the Hunyuan Heaven Sect Master and the Supreme Elders, they plan to officially confer me the Deputy Sect Master of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect in half a month. Moreover, the authority given to me is extremely high, almost reaching the level of the second Deputy Sect Master, second only to Jiesu. I know that the reason why the Hunyuan Heaven Sect thinks so highly of me is because of you. I hope you can come and support me. Oh, the second Deputy Sect Master? Xinghui had just suppressed the entire Green Lotus Sword sect by himself, so his awe of the 10 great sacred sects had greatly decreased. Although the Hunyuan Heaven Sect was much stronger than the Green Lotus Sword sect, and had recently joined the Sword Shadow, one of the 10 great chaos organizations, he still looked down on the second Deputy Sect Master. But seeing that Nalan Fei was happy, he naturally wouldn't dampen her spirits. Okay, I will be there. Then I can rest assured. Without your support, I really feel a little guilty. Nalan Fei smiled. When will you come over? I will make arrangements. Half a month was already a little tight, and Xinghui couldn't delay. I am now in the Green Lotus Sword sect, and will set off in about 8 or 9 days. I should arrive at the Hunyuan Heaven sect 4 or 5 days in advance. Okay, Great Elder Xinghui, I will be waiting for your arrival at the Hunyuan Heaven sect. I am just a little deputy sect master. I will have to ask Great Elder Xinghui to take care of me in the future. Xinghui looked at Nalan Fei, who was in such a good mood that she was even joking with him, and couldn't help laughing. I dare not. You are someone who has the potential to become the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect in the future. How can a little alliance master like me compare to you? I am still far away from being the sect master. I don't have the confidence to compete for the position of sect master. Okay, you remember this matter. I have to inform the others one by one. Xinghui nodded. The busy Nalan Fei didn't stay in his personal space for long and quickly left. I have to go to Heaven Wasteland as soon as possible, and bring back the things I need to buy. After using the incarnation technique, I will be weak for several days. Xinghui thought to himself. At the same time, he contacted Gongxing and Jinyu. He had the chaos cultivation methods of the 2 10th Order Sons of Chaos, one for each of them. He could sell them at the Milky Way Chamber of Commerce and Miaoyu Pavilion. If all goes well, he will receive 100 Dao runes, and he will be able to gather the Dao runes of the Illuminating Sun Sutra. Chapter 373. Senior Dongyang, we've verified your chaos cultivation formula. We can prepare the Dao vessel for you now. Would you like to exchange it for goods or give you a Dao vessel with 50 Daoist rhymes? Gongxing asked respectfully as he stood in front of Xinghui in the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. He seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly added, by the way, Senior Dongyang, we've found the Torch Dragon Bloodline cultivation item you asked me to look out for. It's a portion of Torch Dragon Blood Essence. Although it hasn't reached the Saint Realm, the price is slightly higher. Torch Dragon Blood Essence? What's the price? It requires 60 Daoist rhymes. 60 Daoist rhymes, Xinghui frowned. 60 Daoist rhymes for a portion of Saint Realm Torch Dragon Blood Essence was indeed a little high, but considering that it wasn't easy to obtain it, he had no choice but to agree. I'll take 60 Daoist rhymes. Alright, I'll report this to the Chamber of Commerce. They'll send someone to deliver the Torch Dragon Blood Essence soon. We've successfully auctioned off the Eternal Flower for 184 Daoist rhymes. Senior Dongyang, you'll know this if you do some research. Since the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce didn't charge a fee for this auction item, we still need to give Senior Dongyang 34 Daoist rhymes after deducting the 150 Daoist rhymes deposit, plus the 50 Daoist rhymes for the Chaos Cultivation formula. We need to pay Senior Dongyang a total of 84 Daoist rhymes. Since Senior Dongyang wants to buy the Torch Dragon Blood Essence, we need to deduct 60 Daoist rhymes. In the end, we need to pay Senior Dongyang 24 Daoist rhymes. Senior Dongyang, is that correct? Very correct, but you don't need to rush to give me the Dao vessel items. I have a list of items here. Take a look and see how many Dao vessels you need. Yes. Gongxing accepted the list from Qingsu. When he saw that the list was filled with class 5, 6, and 7 weapons, armors, flying swords, and so on, he was extremely confused. He had no idea why this elder Dongyang was buying so many things, but he did not ask about it. He understood after a simple calculation. The most expensive item here is the white tiger's essence blood. The white tiger is a saint beast, but it's one of the 6 saints. The essence blood of a class 12, white tiger saint beast might not be as valuable as a divine beast, but it's still quite expensive. It'll probably cost around 5 rhymes of ways. As for the rest, I can give Senior Dongyang 10 rhymes of ways. Sure. Xinghui nodded slightly. Senior Dongyang, I see that among the things you need to buy, there are also some great sun crystals. Pardon me for asking, but do you still need any Golden Crow bloodline cultivation treasures? Do you have it? Yes. Gongxing nodded and said, we have a saint-level gold crow blood essence. A saint-level gold crow blood essence. Xinghui's eyes lit up. It seems that the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce has gotten a lot of good things this time. Not only do you have Torch Dragon blood essence, but you also have Golden Crow blood essence. How much is this Golden Crow blood essence? In fact, there are more cultivators of the Golden Crow bloodline than the Torch Dragon bloodline, so the price isn't low. Fortunately, for some reason, the Torch Dragon bloodline is rare in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, but the blood essences of the Golden Crow, Qilin, Kuanpeng Chaos, and other divine beasts are common. It's because of this reason that the cultivation system of these divine beasts has become the mainstream on our continent. Because of the abundant supply, although there are many buyers of the Golden Crow blood essence, it's cheaper than the Torch Dragon blood essence. 55 Dao rhymes is enough. 55 Tao rhymes, huh? Xinghui hesitated for only a moment before he made his decision. I'll take it. His Golden Crow bloodline had already reached the crucial stage of breaking through to the true energy realm. If he could consume the Golden Crow blood essence, breaking through to the Saint First Layer would be a piece of cake. If everything went smoothly, his cultivation would even surpass the true energy realm primary stage, and step into the true energy realm intermediate stage, laying down a solid foundation for his cultivation in this realm. As you wish, Senior Dongyang. Gongxing smiled when he saw Xinghui agree. How many portions of Golden Crow blood essence does Senior Dongyang intend to buy? How many? How many portions of Golden Crow blood essence did your Galaxy Chamber of Commerce get? This, a total of 6 portions. In fact, it's because the lord behind our Galaxy Commerce purchased a rank 10 Golden Crow from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. However, that Golden Crow cub was not afraid of death, and was unwilling to submit. In the end, the lord had to personally kill the Golden Crow cub before it was completely destroyed. He extracted 6 portions of essence blood from the Golden Crow's body to make up for the loss of this transaction. A level 10 Golden Crow divine beast. Xinghui sucked in a breath of cold air. It was not because of the level of the Golden Crow divine beast, but because of the price. One had to know that an unhatched egg of chaos required 300 Dao rhymes. If it was successfully hatched, it would at least double the price. As for a level 10 Golden Crow divine beast, even if it had not reached adulthood and become a true divine beast, it would definitely cost more than 1,000 Dao rhymes. The reason why Xinghui was shocked was because of the myriad star sect's boldness, using more than 1,000 Dao rhymes to bet on a chance to tame a baby Golden Crow. That was really a big deal. Unfortunately, they failed. A baby Golden Crow with at least 1,000 Dao rhymes was only able to save 6 portions of Golden Crow blood essence. Even though the Myriad Star sect was one of the top sects in the Infinite Wasteland world, it was still a huge loss. 6 portions of Golden Crow blood essence. Xinghui rubbed his forehead. 1 portion of Golden Crow blood essence required 55 Dao rhymes. 6 portions would be 330 Dao rhymes. This was not something he could swallow in one go. Just give me 1 portion. As Xinghui spoke, he took out another chaos technique that he had originally planned to sell through the Miaoyu Pavilion. This is also an inheritance technique of a level 10 son of chaos. Go and verify it. Yes, I'll send someone to verify it. As Gongxing spoke, a man of the true energy realm soon arrived. After bowing respectfully to Xinghui, He took the chaos technique and verified it. Not long after, he nodded to Gongxing Senior Dongyang. Your chaos technique has been verified. It is indeed a level 10 son of chaos. Do we directly give you the Dao rhymes or deduct it from this transaction? Deduct it from this transaction. As Xinghui spoke, he joked to Gongxing. Although I'm trying my best to obtain Dao rhymes, no matter how many Dao rhymes I obtain in the end, I will still contribute everything to the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. It seems that the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce is still the most profitable business. Gongxing hurriedly smiled apologetically. Senior Dongyang, you must be joking. We're just doing a resale business to earn some hard work. How can we compare to you, Senior Dongyang, who can easily obtain hundreds of Dao rhymes? Well, prepare the things for me immediately. Yes, after deducting the price of the drop of Golden Crow blood essence, we still need to compensate Senior Dongyang with 4 Dao rhymes. Is that right? A trace of helplessness appeared on Xinghui's face. He originally thought that after selling the 2 chaos techniques, the Illuminating Sun Sutra, and the Saint Realm cultivation method, it would be enough. Now, it seemed that he would have to continue delaying it. Moreover, as his cultivation increased, the consumption of these resources would increase. Once he reached the Saint stage, ordinary resources wouldn't be able to satisfy his consumption. At that time, the speed of his cultivation would become 10 times slower. Not to mention cultivating from the marrow cleansing realm to the peak of the prominent saint stage in a few years, crossing over 10 large and small realms. Just one realm alone would take a few years, or even a dozen years, or even a few decades. That's it. Prepare a set of goods for me, but it's not too far away. There was a hint of joy on Gongxing's face. He hurriedly said, Yes, it just so happens that our Red Cloud Chamber of Commerce has a transaction. We need to send a set of goods to the Thunder Continent. The reward is 12 Dao rhymes. Senior Dongyang. And prepare the goods together. Yes. Gongxing nodded and quickly retreated. Red Cloud City was different from Martial Desolate City. It was closer to the headquarters of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. In less than half a day, the headquarters of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce had already helped Xinghui deliver many flying swords, divine weapons, divine beasts, and Saint Beast's blood essence. Xinghui inspected them, and after confirming that there were no errors, he nodded and then directly dissipated the incarnation. His avatar dispersed. Even though he was rather weak, Qingsu still left his consciousness in the Chaos Divine Hall. He took a look at the Daoist item on him. Including the 16 Daoist rhymes he had just obtained, he had a total of 81 Daoist rhymes. The Daoist rhymes in the Creation Divine Jade had increased from the 8 Daoist rhymes he had left when he raised the Chaos level to the 37th level to the current 62 Daoist rhymes. He was still 38 Daoist rhymes away from being able to raise the Chaos level to the 38th level. He still needed another month. The supply of goods is in the hands of others. If I want to make a profit by reselling the goods in other people's hands, I'm bound to be exploited. Moreover, I'm only secretly selling these things in the Eastern Wilderness, and the scale can't be considered large. After occupying the Green Lotus Sword sect, I'll gradually start to disturb the prices in the Eastern Wilderness. It will inevitably infringe on the interests of those chaos organizations, and the trouble that will follow will not be small. Not only did he not make enough money, but he also had to face the suppression of other chaos organizations. Qingsu fully experienced the difficulty of obtaining some items that could carry the way. I still have to take more private jobs. Xinghui muttered to himself. The next moment, his figure flashed, and he directly appeared in the public area open to all members of the Primordial Chaos Trade Union. At this moment, among the few sons of chaos in the Primordial Chaos Trade Union, only Xian Long was in the public area. Seeing Xinghui arrive, Xian Long hurriedly got up and bowed. Sir. Xinghui nodded. Have any suitable traders been selected recently? Our Primordial Chaos Trade Union hasn't made a name for itself in the Chaos Temple, so there aren't many people who are willing to take the initiative to trade with us. Even if some traders come in contact with our Primordial Chaos Trade Union with the intention of giving it a try, they basically won't make any profit. It's better to be like the Voidwalkers, delivering goods for others. No, Xinghui frowned. He had obtained a portion of torched dragon blood essence. With this torched dragon blood essence, the cultivation of the illuminating Sun Sutra to the prominent divine stage was no longer a problem. Next, the cultivation method of the illuminating Sun Sutra to the saint stage was imminent. If he still couldn't obtain enough resources to buy the illuminating Sun Sutra after refining the torched dragon essence blood and the golden crow essence blood, then he would have to sell the battle realm token. Alright, you guys continue. If there are any suitable traders, inform me as soon as possible. Yes, Xian Long respectfully responded. However, after responding, he seemed to be a little hesitant. Sir, in fact, an elder of the Life League has submitted a trader with astonishing returns, but the process of the mission is not only very dangerous, but the probability of failure is also extremely high. There is a 90% chance that it will be a wasted trip. Astonishing returns? How so? No less than 200 Taoist rhymes. Xian Long said heavily. Sing Hui's eyes lit up when he heard this. Chapter 374. 200 Tao Rhythms. Are you telling the truth? Only more, no less. Xian Long replied solemnly. Where is the information? I need detailed information on this commission. Please wait for a moment, Lord, I'll get it for you. However, this commission is indeed very dangerous. If you're not careful, you'll lose everything, so please be careful. Xian Long said, and very quickly sorted out a set of information, and handed it to Tsing Hui. The trader is the young lady of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, one of the 3 largest chambers of commerce in the Hidden Sword Continent. The Hidden Sword Continent. Tsing Hui had never heard of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, but he had some impression of the Hidden Sword Continent. This is a medium-sized continent that is extremely close to the Heaven Wasteland domain. Yes, the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce is only 9 million kilometers away from the Heaven Wasteland domain. 9 million kilometers. Tsing Hui could not help but frown. How far was 9 million kilometers? A powerful figure using a 12th order flying sword could reach an astonishing speed of 10,000 kilometers per hour. Some cultivators who had awakened the bloodline of the Kuanpeng and possessed auxiliary secret techniques could fly even faster. Of course, even powerful existences like powerful figures could not have endless vital yuan in their body, and it was impossible to maintain a top speed of 10,000 kilometers per hour. However, if the level of recovery was high enough, and supplemented with some medicine, it was easy to reach a speed of 6,000 kilometers per hour. In other words, if a powerful figure wanted to cross the sea, it would only take 2 or 3 months to fly from the Heaven Wasteland domain to the Hidden Sword Continent. Even if it was easy to fly over using a 12th order flying weapon, it would take about 5 or 6 months. This kind of distance was nothing to the top powerful figures of the Heaven Wasteland domain. Even if those powerful figures were too lazy to travel, they could send down a powerful main battle avatar to the Hidden Sword Continent to compete with the cultivators of the Hidden Sword Continent at a relatively low cost. For the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce to become one of the 3 largest chambers of commerce on such a large continent. The water was very deep. Tell me more about it. The Hidden Sword Continent is different from the East Wasteland domain. Although the East Wasteland domain is a medium-sized continent, it is considered one of the weaker ones among the medium-sized continents. It is only because it is rich in Tao-carrying items that it attracted the intervention of several large chaotic organizations. However, the Hidden Sword Continent, although it is a medium-sized continent, it is extremely powerful and is close to the peak of medium-sized continents. There are hundreds of Endless Realm and Golden Core Realm experts on this continent. What is even more shocking is that the continent has already given birth to a powerful figure, and the ancestor behind the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce is one of the 6 disciples. There's a powerful figure. Tsing Hui was somewhat surprised. A continent that had a powerful figure overseeing, it was really not something that the East Wasteland domain could be compared to. Unlike the situation of the 10 great sacred sects of the East Wasteland domain, the Hidden Sword Continent is dominated by one sect. The powerful figure who was born on the Hidden Sword Continent has already completed the unification of the Hidden Sword Continent and established a sect called the Hidden Sword Sect. The Hidden Sword Continent was also changed according to the sect of the One Sword Sect. This sect has ruled the Hidden Sword Continent for thousands of years. Logically speaking, a continent that has given birth to a powerful figure and has completed the unification should not be interfered with by anyone else. However, the problem is that the production of Dao aura on this continent is not low. Furthermore, the Hidden Sword Sect's sword Venerable Hidden Sword is about to die. Of course, I personally feel that the most important reason is that the Hidden Sword Continent is too close to the Heaven Wasteland domain. It is so close that if the level of the incarnation technique of a Saint Realm expert is high enough, and is willing to send down a main battle avatar, the main battle avatar will possess the realm of a powerful figure. Send down a main battle avatar with the battle strength of a powerful figure. Xing Hui's expression changed slightly. Every powerful figure's divine ability is a divine ability seed condensed from their own golden core. There is only one divine ability seed. Not to mention whether or not the main battle avatar can bring the divine ability seed to other continents. If the main battle avatar that carries the divine ability seed is killed and the divine ability seed is shattered, the consequences are enough to cause the cultivator's realm to drop. Would those Saint Realm experts dare to take such a risk? I wouldn't dare, but it's a powerful deterrent. It's enough to deter the local almighties of the Hidden Sword Continent from acting rashly. After all, if a Saint Stage expert really sends down a prime battle avatar that carries a divine ability seed, ordinary almighties who have condensed divine abilities are no match for it at all. Continue. Xing Hui said. Because of this and because the Hidden Sword Continent has produced a good output of Dao objects over the years, the Hidden Sword Continent has been targeted by two chaos organizations. A chaos organization that has a Saint Realm expert, and if they want to send down a main battle avatar that has the power of a powerful figure, they need a higher level of avatar technique. They must be the top chaos organization. Yes, these two chaos organizations are the highest supreme and the heavenly way. They do not dare to violate the unspoken rules established among the many organizations of Heaven Wasteland domain, and openly interfere in the affairs of the Hidden Sword Continent, but they secretly support the Aurora Peak and the North Moon Peak, two of the 36 peaks of the Hidden Sword Sect. They use the name of the Hidden Sword Sect to swallow up the production areas of the Hidden Sword Sect and fill their own pockets. Every year, the Hidden Sword Sect loses dozens of Dao auras. Half a year ago, the group of people from the North Moon Peak had already set their sights on the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce. The Heavenly Way, the highest supreme. Xing Hui sighed. These two chaos organizations were not easy to deal with, especially the Heavenly Way, which was more powerful than the Sky Dome sect. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was the top force in the entire world. According to what you said, the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce is going to be annexed? The ancestor of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce is one of the 6 disciples of the Hidden Sword Supreme. How dare they attack the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce? Aren't they afraid of completely angering the Hidden Sword Supreme? First of all, the Hidden Sword Supreme has lived for more than 2,800 years, and has been a great expert for more than 1,000 years. He is nearing the end of his life. Second, the ancestor of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, who is also the disciple of the Hidden Sword Supreme, Great Sword Sect Su Hui, has died 600 years ago. In addition, the Great Sword Sect Su Hui has no successor and the younger generation in the family is getting worse and worse. A few years ago, the Hidden Sword Supreme allowed the descendants of the Great Sword Sect Su Hui to enter the Hidden Sword Peak where he cultivated and at the same time to observe and give guidance. However, these descendants are too useless. Not to mention the Divine Grade Battle Body, there are only a few who can cultivate the Divine Grade Battle Body. Moreover, the few who have cultivated the Divine Grade Battle Body can't be considered a true Divine Grade Battle Body. As time passed, the Hidden Sword Supreme became more and more disappointed, and their friendship naturally faded. Looks like this is the Grand Elder's first test. Xing Hui soon saw through the North Moon Peak's true intentions. The Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce has been relying on the identity of the Great Sword Sect Su Hui to develop their influence to the extreme. 300 years ago, they were the uncrowned king of the various chambers of commerce on the Hidden Sword continent. However, because they have gradually declined, they were overtaken by the latecomers and became one of the three major chambers of commerce. Over the countless years, the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce has collected a lot of Taoist charms from the Hidden Sword continent. The Taoist charms contained in these Taoist charms must be no less than 200, but the entire Su family basically doesn't have any decent experts. The most powerful ones are said to be only a few transcendent experts. As for the direct descendants of the Great Sword sect Su Hui, there are only two left due to various reasons. One is the young lady of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, the client, Su Xiao, and the other is her underage younger brother. Now the young peak of the North Moon Peak, Bei Wuxian, has proposed to Su Xiao. The young peak master of the North Moon Peak, Bei Wuxian, must have used some other methods when he proposed, right? Otherwise, the young lady of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce could have directly refused. Naturally, the North Moon Peak has secretly received the support of the Heavenly Tao, and their influence has soared. They've used all sorts of methods to suppress the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, making it difficult for the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce to develop. They've even bribed the founding members of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce to force Su Xiao to agree. After all, the founding members all know that the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce is declining. They all need to find a new backer for themselves, and the North Moon Peak is clearly one of the best candidates. The young lady of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce is also at her wit's end, which is why she's placed her hopes on our primordial Chamber of Commerce. Xian Long paused slightly. Of course, we're only one of the people she's chosen. She's probably asked for help from many people, but this matter doesn't just involve the Heavenly Tao. The Hidden Sword sect itself is extremely powerful. Even if ordinary powerful figures send down their main battle avatars to help Su Xiao, they won't be able to escape the fate of being killed by the experts of the North Moon Peak. Xing Hui nodded. This mission, there was indeed no hope of completing it. Su Xiao promised that as long as anyone can protect the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce for them, she's willing to give them 90% of the Tao-carrying items that the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce has accumulated over the years as a reward. The total amount is no less than 200 Tao-carrying items. Why doesn't she give these items to the Hidden Sword Venerable? Haha, not to mention meeting the Hidden Sword Venerable. The Hidden Sword Venerable will at most take care of her because of her identity as the descendant of Su Hui. The Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce can't escape the fate of being annexed. The more important problem is that the Hidden Sword Venerable no longer cares about worldly affairs due to his old age. He's been in seclusion in the deepest part of the Hidden Sword sect, the Hidden Sword Peak. It's hard for ordinary people to even see him. Furthermore, most of the founding members of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce have been bribed. She doesn't even have the ability to meet the Hidden Sword Venerable now. Can't meet the Hidden Sword Venerable. Xing Hui shook his head. This young mistress Su is really in a miserable state. Among the people that Su Hui has accumulated, no one is willing to help them? In the past 600 years, the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce has encountered many crises. The favors left behind have long been used up. Furthermore, the Su clan is clearly lacking in manpower and is on the verge of decline. Who would be willing to offend the North Moon Peak for the sake of a Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce that is destined to decline? As a result, unless someone from the younger generation of the Su clan can rise up and attract the attention of the upper echelons of the Hidden Sword sect, and lend them a helping hand, or if they can pass through the Myriad Swords Peak, and cause 10,000 swords to whistle through the air, and awaken the Hidden Sword Venerable, who is in seclusion, no force can reverse the fate of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce. Speaking of this, Xian Long shook his head slightly. However, this is impossible. Although young Mistress Su Xiao is talented, most of her talents are concentrated in business management. It's because of her talent in business that the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce hasn't fallen out of the top 3 chambers of commerce. Her talent in cultivation is also lacking compared to the others in the Hidden Sword continent. After cultivating for more than 30 years, she seems to have just stepped into the realm of spirit and chi as one. As for her younger brother, although he's 16 years old, because he was assassinated when he was young, he became a fool. His intelligence is even lower than a 3-year-old child's. Hence, the fate of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce is already set. Wait, 16 years old? He was assassinated when he was young and became a fool? Chapter 375. Xian Long's words stunned Xing Hui. Yes, Su Zhao's brother Su Yuan is indeed a fool. If he can't be cured, he won't be able to carry on the family legacy. The Su family's direct bloodline will probably end here. This is one of the reasons why the North Moon Peak wants to attack the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce. Qing Su nodded. All right, I understand. I'll take a closer look at the information from now on. Then if you need anything, please call me again. Wait a moment. Ask Heaven's Inquisition to come here. Xian Long was stunned. Could it be that Heaven's Inquisition was going to take on this task? But many powerful figures had sent their main battle incarnations to the Hidden Sword sect, but they didn't get anything out of it. Unless there was a powerful figure with a superpower seed. However, only powerful figures in the Saint Realm could send down their incarnations with superpower seeds. And these incarnations only had the power of a powerful figure. If they were careless, they would be killed, and the superpower seed inside would be destroyed. Even for the Saint Realm Supreme figure, it would be a great loss. 200 Tao rhymes shouldn't be enough for them to take such a big risk. Xian Long was a little confused, but he wasn't a talkative person. He replied respectfully, "Yes, sir." Then he quickly left. Xing Hui carefully read the information of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce. Even though the profit this time couldn't be compared to the Chongzhen continent, 200 Tao rhymes was worth some effort. Greetings, Lord Pak Hui. Xing Hui flipped through the information for a while. Heaven's Inquisition appeared in his personal space and bowed slightly. Lord Pak Hui, you've really shown off your power in the Green Lotus Sword sect. You've suppressed an entire sect by yourself. There are only a few people in the entire Eastern Wilderness who can compare to you. When the next Eastern Wilderness ranking comes out, Lord Pak Hui will definitely be in the top 10. Xing Hui looked at Heaven's Inquisition. As expected of the Divination Pavilion. You're really well informed. He wasn't surprised that Heaven's Inquisition knew about this. Even though the Green Lotus Sword sect announced that Lady Pak Hui was subdued by Nan Shun and Lian Hua, 2 true energy realm experts, we know the truth of the matter. However, the Green Lotus Sword sect really knows how to flatter themselves. If Lady Pak Hui is willing, we can spread the news for you and let your name spread throughout the Eastern Wilderness. There's no need. Do you think the 2 true element stage ancestors of the Green Lotus Sword sect would dare to spread the news without my permission? I've said too much. Tianwen nodded. Compared to before, Heaven's Inquisition's attitude towards Xing Hui had changed quite a bit. Even though he was a member of the Pavilion of Divination, and was outside of all the forces on the continent, he did not dare act as casually as before in the face of Xing Hui, a ferocious figure who had single-handedly suppressed the entire Green Lotus Sword sect. He clearly paid more attention to his words. I wonder if there's anything I can help you with this time, Sir White Ruin? I need some information about the Hidden Sword sect of the Hidden Sword continent, mainly about the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce and the North Moon Peak. The Hidden Sword continent, the Hidden Sword sect, the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, the North Moon Peak. Heaven's Inquisition paused for a moment, then thought of something. Lady Pak Hui, have you received a request for help from Su Xiao, the eldest daughter of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce? Xing Hui recalled that Su Xiao had been desperate and had spread the news to almost half of the Chaos Divine Palace. It was reasonable that Heaven's Inquisition had also heard about it. That's right. Do you have any suggestions, Lord Heaven's Inquisition? Suggestions? To be honest, I don't really recommend Lady Pak Hui to accept this mission. So far, 4 people have already accepted this commission. And without exception, all of them were powerful existences. However, without exception, all of these powerful existences had their prime battle avatars killed. One of the powerful existences was even found by his enemy when his prime battle avatar was killed. While he was severely weakened, he was killed on the spot. Even the sect behind him was uprooted as a result, and countless people were implicated. Is that so? Xinghui frowned when he heard this. That's 200 Taoist rhymes. Yes, 200 Taoist rhymes is enough to tempt powerful existences. However, apart from descending their avatars according to the rules, which powerful existences would dare to truly enter the Hidden Sword continent? If they really did so, it would be tantamount to breaking the rules jointly set by many chaos organizations. By then, there would be plenty of people who would be willing to kill them and take their assets and chaos-level items for themselves. Although the reward of 200 Taoist rhymes is good, one would need to be alive to enjoy it. Xinghui nodded. Powerful existences would not dare to go in their true bodies. No matter how many avatars went, they would all die. As for the cultivators below the Golden Elixir realm, the North Moon Peak was not weak either, especially since the North Moon Peak was backed by the Heavenly Tao, which was a colossus. Even if those Golden Elixir realm cultivators who accepted the commission could suppress the North Moon Peak, once the Heavenly Tao behind the North Moon Peak intervened, what awaited those Golden Elixir realm cultivators was only the fate of destruction. Looks like this commission is really impossible to complete. Impossible. Unless a Saint Stage powerhouse appears, no one can save the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce. However, which Saint Stage powerhouse doesn't have a family to feed? They may have the ability to save the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, but they have to consider the consequences of doing so. After all, the North Moon Peak is backed by one of the three most powerful chaos organizations in the Chaos Temple, the Heavenly Tao. Give me some information. I'll understand a little. If it's impossible, I won't force it. Alright then. The matter of the Hidden Sword continent caused quite a stir half a year ago, and there are quite a few people who know about it. It won't cost much, and a level 6 divine weapon will suffice. To your excellency White Ruins, this is just a drop in the ocean. Heaven's Inquisition said. Sir Pak Hui, please wait for a moment. Xinghui replied. Soon, Heaven's Inquisition bowed and left. After waiting for less than half an incense stick's worth of time, Heaven's Inquisition had already reappeared in Xinghui's personal space. He handed a document to him. This is the specific information we've collected about the Hidden Sword continent. Of course, there's also detailed information about the North Moon Peak. However, the price will be much higher. If Sir Pak Hui only wants to understand a little, I don't recommend that you spend a lot of money to buy this information. This is enough. I'll just take it as a show. It's indeed a show. This matter has caused a lot of trouble. We've studied it with our information channels, and found that it's almost impossible to solve this matter from the outside. Our only hope is the Hidden Sword Venerable. If the Hidden Sword Venerable can appear at this time, and protect the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce, everything will be over. After all, even the Heavenly Tao may not dare to let a Saint Stage giant send down an almighty incarnation to fight against the Hidden Sword Venerable. Once the incarnation is destroyed, it's equivalent to crippling a supreme Saint Stage giant. The loss is too great. Unfortunately, there are only two ways to get the Hidden Sword Venerable to appear. The first way is for the Su family to show enough value, and then ask Su Hui's senior brothers and sisters to plead with the Hidden Sword Venerable. The second way is for the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce to give birth to a peerless genius. If he can cause the 10,000 swords to howl together, it will definitely alarm the Hidden Sword Venerable, who is in seclusion. At that time, he can naturally make this request to the Hidden Sword Venerable. Go to the Myriad Swords Peak, cause the 10,000 swords to howl together, and alarm the Hidden Sword Venerable. Xinghui's eyes fell on the information given by Tian and quickly found the so-called 10,000 swords howling together. To find a 1 in a million sword genius? Yes. Tian said in a joking tone. In fact, the Hidden Sword sect is one of the oldest large sects in the Hidden Sword continent. It existed long before the Hidden Sword continent was unified. It has been passed down for tens of thousands of years, dating back to the time when the Divine Wilderness was broken. Just like the Limitless Sword sect in the Eastern Wilderness, it is said that it has a mysterious inheritance from the Divine Wilderness. There has always been a rumor in the Hidden Sword sect that there is an ancient divine sword in the sect. If one can make the divine sword recognize him as its master, he will have infinite power. The Hidden Sword sect is famous because of this sword. The Hidden Sword Venerable set up the Myriad Swords Peak to find a sword genius who can make the divine sword recognize him as its master. Ancient divine sword? What ancient divine sword? Xing Hui asked curiously. Tianwen shrugged. Who knows? This rumor has been passed down since ancient times. Back then, many powerful people were interested in it and deliberately snuck into the Hidden Sword sect to investigate. The elders of the Heaven's Secret Pavilion, in line with the principle of seeking truth from facts, also made a trip to the Hidden Sword sect. Unfortunately, after staying there for several years, they found nothing but a waste of time. 1,000 years ago, after the Hidden Sword Venerable broke through to the transcendent realm and became a powerful person, this rumor also spread for a period of time. After a period of time, some powerful people went to the Hidden Sword sect to investigate. Unfortunately, the result was the same. Now probably no one believes this rumor anymore. Xing Hui's expression darkened when he heard this, faintly disappointed. But thinking about it, if there really was an ancient divine sword in the Hidden Sword sect, it would have been taken away by those top experts. The 9 million kilometer journey would not be able to stop those powerful people who were tempted by the divine weapon. Even though this rumor is methodical, and it's even to the extent that the Hidden Sword sect has fabricated a few names and origins, but Sir Baisu doesn't have to pay any attention to it. Any sect would fabricate some myths and legends for the sake of showing that their sect has a long history and an orthodox origin. The Hidden Sword sect is probably no exception. Just take the Myriad Sword Peak as a training ground for the Hidden Sword Peak to select geniuses in the Sword Dao. Xing Hui nodded. Unfortunately, he was not a sword genius. But with a trace of curiosity, he still asked, how can the Myriad Swords Peak make 10,000 swords roar together? What about the rumor that the ancient divine sword is methodical? It is said that the Myriad Swords Peak had more than 10,000 spiritual swords in its heyday. These spiritual swords are mediocre in power, but they are full of spirituality and can transform into human form. However, due to the theft of many powerful people out of curiosity, there are only about 100 spiritual swords left on the Myriad Swords Peak that can transform into human form. Although the others are not weak, they are just there to make up the numbers. The cultivator uses his blood mixed with qi to drip on the spiritual swords to activate them. The spiritual swords then transform into human form and compete with the cultivator. During the competition, the cultivator must borrow the power of the Myriad Swords Peak to suppress their own cultivation. At most, they can only maintain the strength of the awakening realm, or even the blood-changing realm. Otherwise, even if they defeat the sword spirit, it will be difficult to make the sword spirit submit. Tianwen paused for a moment. As for the ancient divine sword, some people call it the 7-star demon refining sword, while others call it the dragon abyss sword. According to the ancient records of the Hidden Sword sect, it is said to be a sword passed down by a Grand Supreme during the Divine Wilderness era. Chapter 376. 7 Stars Demon Refining Sword, Dragon Abyss Sword? Xing Hui was slightly taken aback by Heaven's Inquisition's words. Whether it was the 7 Stars Demon Refining Sword or the Dragon Abyss Sword, these two names sounded familiar to him, especially. These two names were said to have been passed down by a person named Taishang, which made him feel an incomparable sense of familiarity. Taishang? In the myths and legends of ancient Huaxia on Earth, there was a powerful man named Lord Taishang. He had many divine weapons and treasures in his hands. One of them was the 7 Stars Demon Refining Sword. According to the myths and legends of ancient Huaxia, this sword was once wielded by a demon and competed with another weapon, the Rui Jingu Bang, which could stabilize the sea. Could it be that the 7 Stars Demon Refining Sword was that ancient divine sword? Although it was inconceivable that the ancient divine sword in ancient Huaxia's legends would appear in this world, when he thought about the divine jade called creation that he had, Xing Hui could not help but let his imagination run wild. Looks like I'll have to investigate the Hidden Sword sect if I have the chance in the future. Xing Hui muttered to himself. After a while, his heart skipped a beat. If there was a chance, wasn't there now? Wasn't Su Yuan, the brother of Miss Su of the Su family from Shenhui Trading Company, The best candidate? He was the second descendant of Su Hui, one of the 6 disciples of the Hidden Sword Venerable. Coincidentally, he was persecuted when he was young and his mind was not fully developed. If he could use the incarnation technique to descend into Su Yuan's body and inherit his identity, there was a great chance that he could sneak into the upper echelons of the Hidden Sword sect. If he was lucky enough to become the disciple of the Hidden Sword Venerable, on one hand he could solve the crisis for Su Xiao and complete her mission to obtain 200 Taoist rhymes. On the other hand, he could get close to the Hidden Sword Venerable and plot the secret of the ancient divine sword. Thinking of this, Xing Hui could not help but have an idea. I'm afraid this will take some time. My doppelganger technique has undergone a special mutation and is now self-sufficient. Even if I maintain my doppelganger technique for a few years, 10 years, or even a few decades, it won't be a problem. The only drawback is that after my consciousness is split into 2, whether it's cultivating, comprehending immortal techniques, fighting, or anything else, the efficiency of the main body will be greatly reduced. If it's an ordinary problem, it won't be a problem, but if there's a real danger, it will definitely be an opportunity for others to take advantage of. Therefore, I have to ensure that the surrounding environment is safe before plotting against the Hidden Sword sect and the ancient godly sword sect. Xing Hui thought. He ensured that his surroundings were safe and sound. He most likely did not have the opportunity to do so in a short period of time. He could only wait until the broken sword reached the eastern wilderness and brought him back to the heaven wasteland world. At that time, there would be more than a year on the road, which was enough for him to slowly build up his business. He only hoped that Miss Su Xiao would be able to hold on. Your Excellency Pak Hui, if there are no problems with the transaction, I will take my leave first. Heaven's Inquisition asked after handing over all the information to Xing Hui. Thank you. Xing Hui nodded slightly. Heaven's Inquisition quickly left. Then, Xing Hui did not stay in the Chaos Divine Temple any longer, and returned to his main body. After returning to his main body, he stayed for a few more days. After his body had fully recovered from the weakened state caused by the doppelganger technique, he directly set off, leaving the Green Lotus Sword sect, and heading in the direction of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. The banquet for Nailan Fei's appointment as deputy sect master would be held in a few days. As a supreme elder of the Hunyuan Heaven sect who belonged to the Zhua family, he naturally had to appear to support Nailan Fei. After receiving the specific date of Xing Hui's arrival, Nailan Fei quickly made arrangements. For the higher-ups of the entire Hunyuan Heaven sect, Xing Hui's attendance at Nailan Fei's appointment banquet and his non-attendance represented 2 completely different meanings. If Xing Hui personally came, the supreme elders of the Hunyuan Heaven sect would naturally have to attend the banquet as well, so as not to arouse the dissatisfaction of the supreme elder, who had almost suppressed the entire Green Lotus Sword sect. If Xing Hui did not come, they would not bother to personally congratulate a junior, and would just send a disciple or subordinate over. Even the supreme elders of the Hunyuan Heaven sect themselves were unaware that Xing Hui had unknowingly gained influence over the ordinary supreme elders in the Hunyuan Heaven sect. In the void, a figure was flying towards the Hunyuan Heaven sect at an extremely fast speed. Even though the Green Lotus Sword sect was over 20,000 kilometers away from the Hunyuan Heaven sect, Qing Su possessed a grade 9 flying sword. With the special recovery ability of a grade 10 flying sword, the true qi in his body was endless. He could easily maintain a speed of 1,500 kilometers per hour. He only needed a day to reach the Hunyuan Heaven sect from the Green Lotus Sword sect. At most, he would be slightly uncomfortable with the atmospheric winds due to his higher speed. However, considering that time was of the essence, and that he had to immediately choose the Jinwu religion as his new target after plundering the Green Lotus Sword sect, he had no choice but to make the best use of his time. He did not want to waste too much time on the road. Flying all the way, Xing Hui quickly crossed the distance between the Green Lotus Sword sect and the Hunyuan Heaven sect. When he was less than 6,000 kilometers away from the Hunyuan Heaven sect, he seemed to sense something and faintly felt that he was being spied on. However, when he carefully searched for this feeling, he could not figure out where it came from. Moreover, he had already entered the territory of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, and his other identity was the Supreme Elder of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. He did not think too much about it, and continued to fly forward. But as he continued to move deeper into the Hunyuan Heaven sect, the feeling of being spied on did not decrease but instead grew stronger. When he was about 3,000 kilometers away from the Hunyuan Heaven sect, the feeling of being spied on almost reached its peak. This time, Xinghui could not help but turn a blind eye to it. Interesting, there are actually people who want to harm me, the Supreme Elder, in the territory of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Xinghui swept his gaze around, and with his powerful sensing ability, he quickly found the direction from which the feeling of being spied on came from. He immediately turned around, and the speed of his flying sword suddenly erupted. His entire person was accompanied by an ear-piercing sonic boom, as he roared in the direction of the feeling of being spied on. On a tall tower built on a mountain peak, Xinghui arrived amidst a powerful sonic boom. Before his figure arrived, the shockwaves that swept over had already caused the tower to rumble. The windows and tiles were all shattered into powder, and even the several cultivators in the tower were shaken to the point of dizziness. Spare me, my lord." Soon, there were panicked pleas for mercy from inside the tower. "Who are you people?" Xinghui stood outside the broken windowsill and looked at the people inside the tower. The leader of these people was unexpectedly at the true Qi stage, and the rest had all reached the awakening stage without exception. They could be considered a strong force. "My lord, we are members of the Hunyuan Heaven sect's Tianyuan division. We are responsible for monitoring the high-level cultivators who enter our Hunyuan Heaven sect territory abnormally, to prevent them from invading our Hunyuan Heaven sect with malicious intentions," the true Qi stage man hurriedly explained. "Tianyuan division?" Xinghui thought carefully. The Hunyuan Heaven sect did indeed have such a division, and the division's responsibility was just as the true Qi stage man had said. They were responsible for monitoring the cultivators who entered the Hunyuan Heaven sect territory abnormally. However, I don't think I need to explain my identity too much. You are our Hunyuan Heaven sect's Supreme Elder Xinghui." The true Qi stage man raised his head and glanced at Xinghui, somewhat cautiously asking, "Since you recognize me, why have you been monitoring me all this time?" The true Qi stage man hurriedly said in a trembling voice, "Supreme Elder Xinghui, please spare my life. In fact, we only received orders from above saying that a sword light is approaching our Hunyuan Heaven sect territory at an unimaginable speed. We naturally recognize Supreme Elder Xinghui, but, according to what the higher-ups said, Elder's flying speed is too fast. It's so fast that before we could clearly see your appearance and completely recognize you, you had already left the range of those monitoring points. We can't completely confirm your identity, Supreme Elder Xinghui, so we monitored you all the way." Xinghui was slightly taken aback. He didn't expect this to be the reason. Flying too fast, ordinary cultivators wouldn't be able to confirm his identity even with the help of some extraordinary long-range viewing treasures. Glancing at the somewhat dilapidated surveillance tower in front of him, Xinghui felt a little embarrassed. However, his status as a Supreme Elder made it difficult for him to say anything to these people. "I see. Since you've already figured out my identity, you can report it. I don't want to be watched everywhere I go. As for the damage to this tower, you can also report it to the sect." Yes, thank you for your understanding, Supreme Elder Xinghui." Xinghui nodded and didn't say anything more to the true Qi stage man. His figure leaped up and once again flew in the direction of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. However, as he flew in the air for a while, he vaguely felt that something was wrong. Was the Hunyuan Heaven sect's Tianyuan division really so weak? Although his flying speed was very fast, reaching 1,500 kilometers per hour, it wasn't the kind of full speed where he ignored the consumption of true Qi. He merely maintained a relatively fast speed. For peak illustrious saint stage experts who were proficient in speed and had a grade 7 flying sword, it wasn't difficult for them to reach or even surpass this speed. If the Hunyuan Heaven sect's Tianyuan division really couldn't identify him, because he maintained a speed of 1,500 kilometers per hour, allowing him to enter a range of 4,000 kilometers away from the Hunyuan Heaven sect. The Hunyuan Heaven sect would have long been destroyed by a surprise attack like this. Something's wrong. Xing Hui's figure came to a halt. He turned around and planned to return to the surveillance tower to ask the true Qi stage cultivator in charge of the tower for the truth. However, just as he was about to turn around, a streak of light suddenly whizzed over from the horizon. Just as it was about to reach Xing Hui, it abruptly exploded, turning into a dazzling blue light that filled the surrounding 3,000 meters like a domain. In this domain, the air became extremely viscous, and Xing Hui felt as if he had fallen into a swamp. Sure enough, someone wants to deal with me. Xing Hui's figure shook as a dazzling sword light burst out from the grade 9 divine sword in his hand. It instantly tore through space and charged out of the swamp-like space. However, this delay had already allowed 12 figures, 4 in front and 8 behind, to rapidly rush over from all directions. The 4 figures immediately summoned a unique treasure in their hands. At the same time, they cooperated with the unique treasure in their hands and poured their power into the blue light, rapidly stabilizing the blue light that Xing Hui had torn apart. True element stage experts? 4 true element stage experts, and this is a formation? You're from the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. Sensing the mysterious power that sealed the space, Xing Hui's expression changed. He immediately understood the true identity of the newcomers. Chapter 377. Attack with all our might. Even with the formation sealing us, we won't be able to hide what happened here for long. We must kill him as quickly as possible. He already used his divine art in the battle with the 2 ancestors of the Green Lotus Sword sect. Without the divine art, he's at most a prominent saint expert with a divine grade battle body. With the combined power of us 4 true energy stage experts and 8 prominent saint experts, we can kill him in one fell swoop. Cho Xing Hui, how dare you kill the Grand Elder of the Create Evolve Mystical sect? Today will be the day you die. The 4 true energy stage experts roared at the same time. After stabilizing the formation and sealing the space, the 4 true energy stage experts unhesitatingly revealed their battle bodies. Suddenly, 4 majestic waves of pressure erupted, forming a violent impact that caused Xing Hui's expression to change drastically. Saint Battle Body, Huashi, Aoyin Guiche and Azure Dragon. 4 Saint Battle Bodies, including the peak saint body of one of the 6 divinities, the Azure Dragon. Xing Hui's heart trembled. Saint Battle Bodies were extremely rare. Although 3 of the 7 prominent saint experts of the Green Lotus Sword sect had saint battle bodies, this ratio was extremely high in the entire Eastern Wilderness. Take the Jinwu religion for example. There were more than 10 prominent saint experts in the Jinwu religion, but only 3 of them had condensed a saint battle body. Although the Hunyuan Heaven sect, the Shunxiao Sword sect, the Qiankuan Sacred Land, and the 6 divinity and demon paths had slightly more saint battle bodies, there were only 1 or 2 of them. It was because of this that Qin Zhen, who had cultivated the heavenly Peng battle body with the help of external forces, had such prestige in the Hunyuan Heaven sect. A true energy realm expert with a saint grade battle body was usually as strong as 2 cultivators with spiritual grade battle bodies. If a saint grade battle body specialized in fighting and a spiritual grade battle body specialized in support, it would not be difficult for the saint grade battle body to fight against 3 spiritual grade battle bodies. But now, in order to deal with Xing Hui, the Create Evolve Mystical sect had sent 4 cultivators with saint-grade combat bodies. Their leader had even cultivated the Azure Dragon bloodline, one of the 6 divine saints. This was definitely a terrifying force greater than 10 ordinary true energy boundary experts. What is the Hunyuan Heaven sect's intelligence department doing? He actually allowed so many of the Creation Mystical Gate's top experts to sneak into the depths of the sect. Xing Hui felt the anger of being betrayed. Kill. The 4 saints didn't hesitate to reveal their saint-grade battle bodies. They shouted at the same time, and used their most powerful innate techniques. The true energy boundary expert who had cultivated the Azure Dragon sacred body even exuded the aura of a divine technique. He was a high-level son of chaos who possessed a divine technique. Xing Hui had already used his divine technique in the battle of the Green Lotus Sword sect. And it had not been half a month yet, so he could not use it again. Now that he was facing the battle constitutions of the four saints, he had no choice but to face them head-on. Roar! A loud and clear cry resounded through the sky. In the next moment, the majestic body of the golden crow, emitting endless light, suddenly appeared. Endless light and heat erupted, causing the mysterious formation that sealed the void to gradually distort. This is the golden crow divine body. What a powerful aura. No matter how powerful the aura is, you will still die in the end. Falling meteor. Let's end this quickly. Doomsday howl. Life and death divine wind. Bone-eroding rain. The true energy boundary saint beasts continuously used their most terrifying innate techniques. The power of the four saint beasts was enough to corrode the void and turn it into a desolate area. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 10 suns burning the heavens. Just as these innate techniques were about to engulf Xing Hui had already let out a long cry. 10 suns burning the heavens, 7 suns appeared together. This was the realm that the ancestor of the Great Sun Divine Palace, Zhongxing, had cultivated to. For thousands of years, there were countless people in the Great Sun Divine Palace who had cultivated the 10 suns burning the heavens immortal technique. However, other than the ancestor of the Great Sun Divine Palace, only Xing Hui was able to cultivate this technique to this realm. As the 10 suns burning the heavens appeared, the 7 suns erupted with dazzling light. At the same time, the energy of the golden crow divine body boiled to the extreme. It was like a real sun blooming with endless light. The light was so strong that it completely overshadowed the innate techniques of the 4 true energy boundary experts. Eternal radiance. Rumble. The terrifying and blazing torrent was like a berserk flame tsunami. It crazily rushed in all directions. The innate ability of the 4 saint bodies was like ice and snow exposed to the scorching sun. Under the impact of this berserk energy, it quickly melted. However, in the midst of these 4 rapidly melting energies, the life and death divine wind of the Azure Dragon divine body suddenly changed. When it was about to be smashed into pieces by the violent energy of the sun, it shrank and turned into a point. It pierced through the destructive power of the eternal radiance and fiercely engulfed Xing Hui's body. In an instant, the 9th Order armor appeared on Xing Hui's body. However, in the next second it completely dimmed. His body shook violently, and his body was involuntarily swept away. The eternal radiance of the golden crow divine body is the strongest killing move. After one attack, he will definitely be weakened. Quickly attack, don't give him any chance to breathe. The life and death divine wind swept Xing Hui away. Although it did not cause any serious injuries to him, it allowed him to escape from the energy vacuum formed by the eternal radiance. To other cultivators, this energy vacuum was a domain of death. However, to Xing Hui, who had activated the eternal radiance, it was the best place to ensure his safety. When the 8 prominent divine stage experts heard the shout of their leader, they did not hesitate to activate their divine bodies. A powerful and terrifying energy torrent once again swept through the heavens and earth, wreaking havoc in this domain of 3,000 meters. Following that, the 8 of them unleashed their strongest innate techniques at the same time, tearing apart the destructive flames and striking Xing Hui's body. Damn it! As he sensed the power of destruction sweeping towards him from all directions, Qingsu suddenly sucked in a deep breath. In the next moment, the golden crow avatar that gave off the resplendent power of eternity suddenly opened its mouth and sucked in all of the energy from the 7 blazing suns in the air. With the support of the energy from the 7 suns, a dazzling light that was no weaker than the resplendent power of eternity from before erupted once again. Eternal radiance. The second eternal radiance. Seeing the golden crow divine body erupting with endless radiance once again, the face of the true energy boundary elder of the Azure Dragon divine body suddenly changed. How can the Zhenqi of a prominent divine stage cultivator be so tyrannical? It can actually support his golden crow divine body to use the eternal radiance twice in a row? After saying that, his gaze suddenly fell on the 7 blazing suns above his head. The 7 blazing suns had dimmed slightly, but were gradually recovering as they absorbed the blazing power that was constantly erupting in this space. He immediately made a prompt decision. The four of us will attack again. The others break the 7 blazing suns in the void. These 7 blazing suns seem to have formed a special domain that actually faintly suppressed our create evolve mysterious sex void restriction mysterious formation. This void restriction mysterious formation was bestowed by the Almighty of the Heavenly Tao. It is composed of 4 10th level array flags, and is one of the most precious treasures of our create evolve mysterious sect. It is specially used to trap and kill the top experts. Right now, it is actually faintly shaken by his strange method. We can't let him continue. Under the man's command, the remaining 3 true energy boundary experts once again attacked at the same time, bursting out with powerful innate abilities. Unlike Vision Saint experts, true energy boundary experts' energy density was almost 10 times that of Vision Saint experts. For example, when Xing Hui was in the Vision Saint stage, he could only use the Grand Sun True Fire innate ability 3 to 5 times. However, when he reached the true energy boundary, the number of times he could use it would skyrocket to 30 to 50 times. Because of this, in order to suppress Xing Hui, these true energy boundary experts did not care about the consumption of energy in their bodies. They all used their most powerful innate abilities. The powerful saint-grade battle bodies either spat out a destructive meteor, turned into a bone-eroding rain, or summoned a life and death divine wind. Although all of these abilities were weaker than the eternal radiance of the Golden Crow divine body, under the effect of the formation, they were able to complement each other and offset the eternal radiance of the Golden Crow divine body. I can't go on like this. Although I have the recovery ability of the 10th step, it only proves that the energy in my body recovers extremely quickly. It doesn't mean that I can use the eternal radiance without restraint. In terms of the upper limit of energy, the amount of energy in my body cannot be compared to those true energy boundary experts. These 4 true energy boundary experts are proficient in formations, and have been using their innate abilities time and time again to completely suppress me. I have no choice but to use the eternal radiance to contend against them. If this goes on, the recovery ability of the 10th step will not be able to withstand such a huge consumption, and I will be exhausted to death. A cold light flickered in Xing Hui's eyes. Seeing that the 3rd wave of attacks from the 4 true energy boundary experts was about to arrive, and the remaining 8 Vision Saint experts were looking at the 7 burning scarlet sun discs in the air, he immediately let out a low roar. The Golden Crow divine body suddenly spread its wings and soared. Blazing Grand Sun True Fire erupted from his body, crushing the 2 innate abilities of the life and death divine wind and bone-eroding rain in one fell swoop. Then, he forcefully resisted the sound attack from the meteor and doomsday whistle, brazenly breaking out of the encirclement of the 4 true energy boundary experts. Stop him. Don't worry, he won't be able to escape from our void-sealing divine array. Dragon Soul Chi-Yu, the 4 of you, take out your strength to guard the array, just in case. The 4 true energy realm experts gave orders leisurely, and one of them even got 4 of the 8 illustrious divination realm experts to keep watch from the side, waiting for an opportunity to keep Qingsu busy. However, without waiting for the 4 true energy boundary experts to change their tactics, Xing Hui had already let out a low roar. In the next instant, a power that was even more powerful and condensed than the eternal resplendent sword suddenly erupted from the rank 9 divine weapon in his hand. Glorious Sun Fission. Rumble. A destructive energy current exploded in that instant. Even though this space was completely sealed by the void-sealing divine array of the sect that the 4 true energy boundary experts had activated, facing this destructive power that was condensed to the extreme and suddenly exploded, it was still shaken. A tear suddenly appeared in the void-sealing divine array. Not good. We definitely can't let him escape from the void-sealing divine array. Otherwise, we can forget about trapping him in the array again. Yin Kuei, Chi-Yu, stop him. The sudden change caused the 4 true energy boundary experts, who thought that they were foolproof, to have a drastic change in their expressions. All of them rushed towards Xing Hui with their fastest speed, using their own innate abilities in a futile attempt to stop Xing Hui. The 4 Vision Saint experts in charge of guarding the array roared furiously at the same time, manifesting the power of their saint physiques that erupted with a resplendent and violent attack that brazenly blasted onto Tsing Hui's body. Stay. Die. Chapter 378. That direction. There's a very strong energy fluctuation. According to the distance, the source of the energy fluctuation is more than 2,000 kilometers away. How could an energy fluctuation spread to our Hunyuan heaven sect from more than 2,000 kilometers away? The combatants must be true element stage experts, and they must be true element stage experts who have summoned their saint physique to attack. The Hunyuan heaven sect's several ancestors, who were more than 2,000 kilometers away from the battlefield, immediately sensed it when Tsing Hui tore apart the void restriction array. Call Kunlun and ask them to send people to see what's going on. The two sides of the battle should be true energy stage experts. Kunlun can only mobilize a few juniors, and they probably won't be of much use in a battle of this level. Yuan Bei, let's go over and see who's attacking our Hunyuan heaven sect. Senior brother Yuan Bei and senior brother Tang Sun are almost there. If there's any problem, immediately send a message to us. The remaining 2 true element stage experts said. Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, the 2 true element boundary experts, nodded and quickly flew towards the battlefield. The 2 true element stage experts flying away naturally attracted the attention of the Hunyuan heaven sect's hall masters and grand elders. However, the 2 saint stage ancestors didn't tell everyone what had happened, so they couldn't ask and could only wait for the 2 ancestors to return. Rumble. In the void, the battle between the 12 Create Evolve mystical sect experts and Tsing Hui continued. Relying on the all-out attack of Yin Kuei, Qi Yu, and the other 2 prominent saint stage experts, they barely managed to block Tsing Hui, who had torn apart the void restriction array. Before Tsing Hui could expand on the battle results, the old man who had awakened the Azure Dragon bloodline and possessed a saint technique roared. The giant Azure Dragon saint physique above his head also let out a loud roar. Azure Dragon roar. The roar of the Azure Dragon saint physique could not be described as deafening, but it was filled with a power that could penetrate the body and soul. Under the stimulation of the dragon's roar, Qing Su felt like all the blood in his body had been sealed and bound by a huge, invisible hand. Afterwards, his blood began to fly out from the wounds left behind when he blocked the attacks of Yin Kuei, Qi Yu, and the other Vision Saint experts. In an instant, he had already become a bloody person, and his head was dizzy. Blood was the foundation of a person's cultivation. If it weren't for the abnormal recovery characteristics, a cultivator's zhenqi would have originated from the blood essence in their body, refining zhenqi into zhenqi. Even the abnormal recovery property needed blood as the foundation to restore one's body. A 10th order recovery cultivator couldn't rely on a bone, but they could rely on blood to be reborn, which showed how precious blood was to a cultivator. Right now the blood in his body was out of control. Even his lifeblood essence was about to be stripped out. His entire body was rapidly weakening. What kind of strange innate skill is this? Tsing Hui took a deep breath, and the dense smell of blood from his body assailed his nostrils. He fully operated the Qi into void technique, and used the method of controlling Qi to precisely control the blood in his body to slow down the blood loss. At the same time, the Golden Crow Saint physique let out a loud roar, and suddenly pounced out. The blazing solar true fire erupted from the Golden Crow Saint physique, and brazenly pounced in front of the Azure Dragon Saint physique cultivator, like a falling sun. Stop him! The remaining 3 true energy realm experts shouted at the same time. Their powerful battle constitutions unleashed their most powerful techniques, turning them into a storm of attacks that rained down on the Golden Crow divine body. The power contained in each attack could create a giant crater with a diameter of over 1,000 meters if it landed on the ground. All the vegetation and buildings within that range would be razed to the ground. Rumble! The Golden Crow Saint physique let out a loud roar, and completely ignored the fierce attacks of the 3 Saint physique cultivators. The moment it pounced in front of the Azure Dragon Saint physique, the eternal resplendent killing technique broke out again. The dazzling brilliance like the explosion of the sun suddenly appeared, and completely illuminated the void within the forbidden void Xian formation. Retreat. Although the old man who condensed the Azure Dragon Saint physique withdrew the Azure Dragon Roar secret technique and retreated, the Azure Dragon Saint physique was still injured by the eternal resplendent killing technique of the Golden Crow Saint physique. Not only that, the moment the eternal resplendent sword injured the Azure Dragon Saint physique and forced the three true energy boundary experts to retreat, a bright sword light that was not much inferior to the eternal resplendent sword carried with it a power that could destroy the heavens and exterminate the earth. The endless power of burning and annihilation ruthlessly slashed the body of the Azure Dragon Saint physique. Then, as if the power of the explosion of a star, the sword light exploded from the center of the attack. Not good. Brilliant sun fission. Rumble. The earth-shaking explosions rang out, and the intense light and terrifying sound waves almost caused everyone to lose their sight and hearing. Everyone felt a long hum in their ears, and their eyes were dazzling white. The world seemed to have come to a standstill in the midst of these two consecutive explosions. The 4 10th level formation flags that maintain the Forbidden Void formation were constantly trembling, and tiny cracks appeared on the flagpoles. Even the blue space enchantment was shaking violently, as if it was about to collapse. In the dazzling light, the Azure Dragon Saint physique, whose light was so dim that it almost completely turned into nothingness, suddenly rushed out, and his body was mixed with endless flames. As the owner of the Azure Dragon Saint physique, the old man who had the cultivation of the true element stage, and had also used the divine technique, his face was pale, and he was bleeding from his 7 orifices. He looked extremely embarrassed, and it was obvious that the Azure Dragon Divine Soul was injured. Kill him. Quick. Take advantage of this opportunity to kill him. His power has been exhausted, and now is the golden opportunity to kill him. As he retreated, the old man who had condensed the Azure Dragon Saint physique had already roared loudly, completely ignoring his serious injuries that could damage his foundation. Compared to him, Xing Hui, who had continuously released the brilliant eternal sword and the sword of the brilliant sun, had also consumed his own power to the limit. Although the Golden Crow divine body was better than the old man who had condensed the Azure Dragon Saint physique, because he had to resist the attacks of the Aowin Sacred Physique, Huashi Sacred Physique, and Ghost Chariot Sacred Physique in order to break the Azure Dragon roar of the old man. He also seemed to be in danger, and the Golden Crow divine body had also reached the state of near dissipation. At this time, Aowin Ghost Chariot, and Huashi, the 3 sacred physiques, understood the weakness of Xing Hui. Suddenly, their eyes lit up, and they attacked again, quickly rushing toward him. It's really worthy of the Golden Crow divine body. It's so powerful. If we can't kill him this time, we won't have such an opportunity in the future. This time, we must not let him leave alive. Otherwise, once he grows up, he will inevitably be a great threat to our Create Evolve Mysterious sect. If he grows up to the Endless Realm one day, even if we invite the Almighty behind us to send down the main battle avatar, we won't be able to do anything to him. At that time, he may be able to unify the Eastern Wilderness. Quick, we have received news that the 2 old men of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, Tang Sun and Yuan Bei, have learned about what happened here and are rushing over at full speed. We must completely kill this boy before the 2 old men arrive at the battlefield. Don't care about anything else. Everyone attack together and kill him with the strongest attack. The 3 true element boundary ancestors made a prompt decision. For a time, they did not even care about the sharpness of the Golden Crow divine body. Many times, they would rather face Xing Hui's Golden Crow divine body head-on while their sacred physiques were damaged. If it was in the past, Xing Hui's Golden Crow divine body would naturally not be afraid of a head-on confrontation with 3 sacred physiques. As long as the sacred physiques dared to fight him head-on, he would be able to activate the Great Sun True Fire in the Golden Crow divine body and give them a serious blow. However, at this moment, his Golden Crow divine body had already become dim after continuously using the eternal resplendent sword, and the sword of the glorious sun facing the encirclement of the 3 true element boundary experts. He was unable to extricate himself for a time, making it impossible for him to effectively block the attacks of the remaining 8 Vision Saint experts. the attacks of the 8 Vision Saint experts bypassed the Golden Crow divine body's envelopment and tore apart its defense, blasting their attacks towards Xing Hui. In a moment of carelessness, Adept Yun Kuei's black-striped spirit tiger battle body tore apart Xing Hui's body. The already dim Tier 9 armor could not block the attack of the black-striped spirit tiger battle body. His body, which was not considered strong, was directly torn apart by the black-striped spirit tiger battle body. From his left shoulder to his entire arm, it was completely torn off, spraying blood into the sky. Good. That's it, he can't hold on anymore. Seeing this scene, the pale-faced Azure Dragon Elder, who had already retreated to the edge of the array, could not help but let out a cry of joy. The eyes of the other prominent divine stage experts also flickered with spirit. The scene of Xing Hui using the Golden Crow divine body to withstand 4 Saint-grade battle bodies without falling into a disadvantageous position gave them a strong impact. It should be said that 4 Saint-grade battle bodies of the true energy boundary were all that the Creation Evolution sect had at this stage. Because the transformative stage experts were too closely watched, they could only mobilize the most elite true energy boundary experts to sneak into the Hunyuan Heaven sect's territory and cooperate with someone from the Hunyuan Heaven sect to deal a fatal blow to Xing Hui. These 4 true element realm experts with divine-grade battle bodies could even kill a transcendent realm expert, let alone a cultivator with a divine-grade battle body. But such a powerful lineup had actually been blocked by Xing Hui. This scene naturally had an incomparably strong impact on the 8 prominent divine stage experts present. Fortunately, now that this great enemy, who could very likely overturn the Creation Evolution sect in the future, had been forced to the end of the line, it was only a matter of time before he was completely defeated. No one in the entire Eastern Wilderness can be an enemy of our Creation Evolution sect. You should be proud of yourself for killing 2 of our Grand Elders and making the Creation Evolution sect send out 12 experts to deal with you. The 8 prominent divine stage experts' attacks became even more frenzied. To be able to personally kill such a heaven's pride with a divine-grade battle body, these ordinary prominent divine stage experts, who mainly cultivated spirit-grade battle bodies, felt a heartfelt joy and excitement in their hearts. Kill me. Do you really think you can kill me like this? Xing Hui, whose body was mostly torn apart and covered in blood, looked at the 8 prominent divine stage experts of the Creation Evolution sect who were gradually falling into a frenzy. His eyes were filled with flames of anger. The Creation Evolution sect sent a bunch of weaklings like you. I can clearly tell you that it's not enough. In the next moment, Xing Hui's consciousness was directly projected into his personal space in the Primal Chaos Divine Palace. After completing the transaction with the Galaxy Commerce Chamber of Commerce, he was left with the 81 Dao Ripples in the Creation Divine Jade, and the 62 Dao Ripples in the Creation Divine Jade. After resting in the Green Lotus Sword sect for 7 days, after deducting the consumption of 1 Dao Ripple per day from the Primal Chaos Treasure Pavilion, the number of Dao Ripples in the Creation Divine Jade had reached 69. Now that the situation was dangerous, he did not hesitate to absorb the 69 Dao Ripples in the Creation Divine Jade, and the 31 Dao Ripples in the Creation Divine Jade. His Primal Chaos level directly rose from the 37th level to the 38th level. The moment his Primal Chaos level reached the 38th level, Xing Hui did not hesitate and directly placed his consciousness on the Divine Technique. In a blur, the Divine Technique that was originally at the 2nd level was directly raised to the 3rd level, and the cooldown time was reduced by half from the previous 15 days. 7 days. The cooldown time was over. As he circulated the Divine Art, an unnatural and dense energy surged out from every pore and cell in his body. In an instant, his cultivation base rose from the Vision Divine realm to the realm of True Essence in one go. Kill me? Wait for your next life. Chapter 379. Peng. The originally dim Golden Crow divine body, which seemed to be on the verge of dissipating, suddenly blossomed with an unprecedented radiance as a loud and clear cry resounded through the sky. Peng. Rumble. Endless flames surged out from the originally dim Golden Crow body. With the continuous infusion of Hunyuan, the golden crow body seemed to have truly transformed into a peerless divine beast that could burn the sky, boil the sea, and illuminate the world. A suffocating blazing pressure violently rolled out from the golden crow body, turning into a burst of flames that crazily spread out in all directions. This what's going on? Divine art, it's actually the divine art? Didn't he use the divine art in the Green Lotus Sword sect? It should have been less than 10 days since then. How could he use it again? Damn it, the plan was wrong, the plan was wrong. To be able to cool down the divine art so quickly, his divine art must have reached the 3rd stage. He must have reached the 3rd stage to be able to cool down the divine art in 7 days. Sensing the golden crow divine body that had finally completely declined, and was now almost completely revived on the spot, the 3 true energy boundary experts, who had originally seen hope, were immediately replaced by despair. Kill. With 10 times the power of the true energy boundary, Xinghui was no longer afraid of using the golden crow divine body's power. Accompanied by a long cry, the golden crow divine body suddenly swept out a wave of blazing flames. That was the true sunfire. Endless true sunfire. The true sunfire that was several times more powerful than before. If the true sunfire of Xinghui's golden crow divine body was only a small candle that needed to touch the target to ignite, then now, the true sunfire had turned into a flamethrower. Endless true sunfire swept out from the golden crow divine body, the rolling heat burning the void, immediately suffocating everyone. Eternal radiance. While everyone's eyes were filled with fear due to the emergence of the grand sun primordial fire from the gold crow divine body, the gold crow divine body suddenly burst out with a blazing light that could destroy the heaven and earth. The endless light almost robbed the vision of all the 12 peak experts present. Careful. Not good. Get back. Get out of the way first. His attack is coming. Rumble. Amidst the chaotic roars, the resplendent eternity formed a torrent of energy that rapidly devoured the 8 prominent divine stage experts closest to it. Even if the 8 prominent divine stage experts immediately put on a large amount of defensive armor, it was of no use. The 2 prominent divine stage experts closest to it let out miserable shrieks, as they were engulfed by the resplendent eternity power along with their battle bodies. It was like a piece of paper that had been burnt and blown away by the wind. The 2 vision divine experts died on the spot. But this was only the beginning. The endless grand sun primordial fire took advantage of the moment when the eternal light lit up the sky to condense into a giant sword that was as hot as the sun. The sword then pierced through the dazzling fire. Its target was the true energy realm cultivator, who had cultivated the Awin holy body. Sun glory. Not good. Although the cultivator of the Awin sacred body immediately sensed the fatal threat of the soul trembling, the flying sword under his feet shot out in a futile attempt to escape the attack range of the sword of the glorious sun, but it was no use. The endless brilliance of the sword of the glorious sun was like a stream of light that shot into the huge body of the Awin sacred body. Then, as if a star had exploded, a torrent of destruction surged out from the sword of the glorious sun, including the Awin sacred body, and everything within a radius of 100 meters was devoured. No. The ghost chariot sacred body, the snake sacred body, and even the cultivator of the azure dragon sacred body, who had lost the ability to fight, let out a burst of angry and painful screams at the same time. They, who were well aware of the power of the sword of the glorious sun, could only watch as the true energy realm ancestor of their create evolve mysterious sect was completely devoured by the power of the sword of the glorious sun. Then, like a sand sculpture that was hit by the waves, it was completely shattered. True energy realm. A true energy realm ancestor, who had condensed a saint-grade battle body, was directly killed by the sword of the glorious sun. You dare to kill the ancestor of our create evolve mysterious sect. From now on, even if you escape to the ends of the earth, our create evolve mysterious sect will never let you go. Cho Xinghui, our create evolve mysterious sect will not rest until you are dead. Kill. Kill him. Several true energy realm ancestor of the create evolve mysterious sect roared angrily. Hearing the furious declarations of hatred from several true energy realm ancestor of the create evolve mysterious sect, Sing Hui's eyes were also filled with bone-chilling killing intent. Endless flames burned on the golden crow's sacred body above him, igniting the void and wantonly burning within a radius of 1,000 meters, exuding a world-destroying heat. Good. Fight to the death. You said you would fight to the death. Never admit defeat. Today none of us will be the first to leave the battlefield. Kill. Keep killing until all of us are dead. Whoever leaves is a beast. With endless killing intent, Sing Hui suddenly moved forward again. The golden crow's sacred body swept up the raging sun true fire, and once again pounced on the cultivator of the ghost chariot sacred body. In today's battle, either you die or I die. Kill. The true energy realm ancestor of the ghost chariot sacred body roared and met Sing Hui's figure. The huge ghost chariot sacred body collided with Sing Hui's golden crow sacred body, but the moment the two collided, the golden crow sacred body was torn apart. Endless sun true fire burned along these wounds, completely igniting the ghost chariot sacred body. However, although the saintly body was about to be torn apart, the old man roared. The ghost chariot saintly body, which was about to be torn apart, suddenly wrapped around his body. Like a snake, it completely bound the body of the golden crow divine body and fixed him in the void, unable to move. Quick! Quick! Attack! Kill him! The old man roared. His face was pale and his expression was distorted. The ghost chariot sacred body was gradually annihilated by the sun true fire. The sacred body was the foundation of the cultivator's divine soul, and was formed by the genuine qi. Burning the sacred body was equivalent to burning his divine soul. Wang Fu, the Create Evolve mysterious sect will remember everything you and I have done. The remaining middle-aged man, who had condensed the snake saint body, let out a deep roar. The snake saint body spat out a dark green poisonous rain, which quickly covered the gold crow divine body, trying to corrode it completely. Unfortunately, the grand sun primordial fire on the gold crow's body was way too strong. Under the blazing fire, not only was this dark green poisonous rain unable to corrode the gold crow's body, it was evaporated into ashes before it even got close to the gold crow's body. Seeing this, the face of the middle-aged man who had condensed the snake saint body twitched. The next moment, he did not hesitate to throw the entire snake saint body into the dark green poisonous rain. Suddenly, the dark green poisonous rain, which was quickly evaporated, suddenly expanded several times. The endless poisonous rain fell. Although it was still incinerated by the great sun primordial fire, it suppressed the great sun primordial fire that was constantly emerging from the golden crow saint body. The face of the middle-aged man who had made this decision became extremely pale, and was filled with pain. He had used the snake's sacred body to create a poisonous rain to corrode the sun true fire on the surface of the golden crow sacred body. It was equivalent to using his own blood to extinguish the burning flames. His body would also suffer irreversible damage. This group of old fellows, they are really going all out. I want to see who will be able to win. Sing Hui's golden crow sacred body was completely trapped. It struggled violently and crazily tore the ghost chariot sacred body's body. The terrifying power brazenly tore the ghost chariot sacred body into pieces. What are you waiting for? The middle-aged man who had condensed the snake sacred body roared at the 6 prominent divine experts who had escaped from the eternal resplendent radiance. At this time, the 6 prominent divine experts did not care about their injuries. They roared and compressed all their remaining true qi, revealing the strongest attack of their battle physique. Suddenly, 6 terrifying streams of light were like 6 meteors that had the power to destroy heaven and earth. They fiercely crashed into the tightly bound golden crow's sacred body. Die! Shatter for me! Rumble! It was not violent, but it was enough to determine the outcome of the battle. The golden crow's sacred body that was firmly suppressed by the snake's sacred body, and the ghost chariot's sacred body, let out a painful cry as it faced the attack of the 6 sacred bodies. Its huge body was actually shattered and exploded into flames that filled the sky. The flames that filled the sky transformed into small golden crows. Under the somewhat dim 10 suns burning heaven's domain, they seemed to want to revive and reassemble. However, at this time, the middle-aged man who had condensed the snake's sacred body had a trace of determination on his face. The dark green poisonous rain that was originally formed by the snake's sacred body that was gradually thinning out became even denser. Correspondingly, the middle-aged man's face that was still relatively young rapidly aged. Yuan Annihilation Forbidden Technique. Elder Shintagang. The old man who had condensed the Azure Dragon's sacred body revealed a trace of sorrow in his eyes. He recognized this forbidden technique. It was a kind of secret technique that squeezed one's life potential in exchange for powerful energy. Only experts above the true energy realm could practice it. However, the price to pay was not only that one's cultivation level would drop by one realm, but also that one's lifespan would be greatly shortened. Relying on this forbidden technique, the dim dark green poisonous rain quickly covered the small golden crows that wanted to revive. Like a flame under a flood, the small golden crows were completely annihilated. In the end, only 1 out of 10 could escape back into Tsing Hui's body. Such a serious injury was enough to prevent him from manifesting the golden crow sacred body for the next 1 or 2 months. This was also because Tsing Hui's recovery characteristics had reached the 10th level. If it were not so, he was afraid that he would have to be like Shen Qin, who would not be able to condense the sacred body again for 3 to 5 years. After extinguishing all the small golden crows, Shintagang's face was deathly pale. His body swayed as if he could not even stand firmly. Wang Fu, who had abandoned his saint-grade sacred body, also did not look any better. His ghost chariot sacred body had been torn apart by the golden crow sacred body's violent struggle. He had suffered the same fate as Shen Qin, and the old man who had condensed the Azure Dragon's sacred body. He had lost the ability to fight. Although their complexions were extremely poor, the eyes of the 2 true energy realm experts flickered as they looked at the golden crow sacred body that had finally been defeated. Although we paid such a huge price, but it was worth it. Yes, it was worth it. The final victory belongs to our Create Evolve mystical sect. 2 prominent sage elders and a true energy realm grand elder have died. The Hunyuan heavenly sect and Cho Tsing Hui must pay the price for their actions. Several true energy realm ancestors and prominent sage elders muttered to themselves as their gazes fell on Tsing Hui. Their eyes were filled with fierceness. Next, they would carry out the final judgment on the person who dared to go against the Create Evolve mystical sect. Do you think you can win like this? Seeing the true energy realm and prominent sage elders of the Create Evolve mystical sect looking at him with the attitude of a victor, Tsing Hui's blood-dripping lips curled into a cruel sneer. What's the hurry? The first round is over, but the second round has just begun. Rumble. In the next moment, a vast and terrifying torch dragon phantom suddenly rose from behind Tsing Hui. It carried a terrifying aura that could make one's thoughts stop as it transformed into a behemoth more than 100 meters in diameter that soared into the sky. Surging pressure suddenly erupted, swallowing the wind and clouds and sweeping the sun and moon. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.